Hello, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing this morning? Another Sunday live stream. And again, I'm behind schedule, like always, but I was rushing in this morning and all my roads were closed off around me, all around my office. I don't know what they're doing, but it almost looks like they're doing some sort of like marathon or something. I don't know. They have everything coned off. Even my driveway getting into my complex over here is all completely boarded up. I had to drive over the curbs and stuff like that, and I had to go. There was a barricade saying road closed. I just drove past it and got onto my road to get over to my office. So pretty crazy. I see people are saying it's snowing. Well, it was below freezing here for the first time, or maybe second time of the year. We don't generally get that many freezes. So, but anyway, a little bit behind schedule picking the systems that we're going to work on today. We're not working on anything antiquated or old today. The C64, or actually the VIC-20 that we were working on last week, I was able to get the, good morning, thank you, Daryl. I was able to get the, what was it called? The Angel USB. Remember that little device we were trying to get a USB input into something? So I ended up getting it worked. The workaround I ended up doing is installing a virtual machine, and apparently those Angel USBs only work with Windows XP Media Center Edition. So it's a 2005 edition of Windows XP. So I did a virtual machine, installed that on there, and then I still couldn't get it working with the actual Media Center software. I tried a bunch of different software, even the software you suggested last week, but I ended up using a software called like Power Director or something like that, and it came right up. I was able to choose the TV stations, tune in the channel 3, and works fine. So, so that was a fun little project. But what we're going to be working on today. Oh, I see some stutters. What's going on here? Uh-oh, I completely froze. Can you guys still hear me? My picture's frozen, but you can maybe hear me? Audio is fine. Okay, so I don't know why the picture's frozen. Let me see if I can just change camera views and see if that fixes it. No, my OBS is frozen. Okay, let me, oh, there it goes. It came back. It came back. Pizza fun, thank you, thank you. We love it. Okay, all right, so picture's back. Let's see if it comes back for Twitch over there. Looks like it is. I don't know what happened. OBS is annoying sometimes. What can you do? It's free, right? What can you do? It's free. So anyway, with all that stuff said, I am a little bit behind schedule for getting the systems in here, so we can kind of talk about what systems we want to work on. I have, I don't know, 6 or 7, then we can chat. I see 6 over there. I know I have one other one that we've already pulled out or talked to the customer and let them know that there is going to be a motherboard repair. So we can just kind of talk about that or speak about that. What was I doing? I was doing something over here. So I was thinking that we could just do a vote based on, like, instead of the system itself, but like what the symptom is, and see if that makes it a little more interesting. Because if you're voting based on like what system it is versus what the symptom is, like, so do you want to see one that does a power failure, which is actually getting error codes? You want to see one that has no power at all? Do you want to see one that doesn't charge? You want to see one that has, let's see, I don't know what else. I'm just trying to come up with different things, but because I do have a couple I was writing down right here. So I have 2. I have one that's giving a power rail failure. It's an Alienware. Well, see, I didn't even want to tell you that it was an Alienware, but one's giving a power rail failure. Another one's giving a 3.5 error, but I think that error might be, it could be bias related, but it could also be a power rail failure. And I can read through all these, and then we can just kind of make a list that way. Usually I have all this pre-prepared. Sorry, guys. That barricade kind of messed me up. Laptop will not charge. Tried multiple chargers, both USB ports. Is that entertaining? I don't know. I don't know. This one says it has a 2.1 error, which is a CPU failure. Now that sometimes could just be a power rail failure for the CPU, or I've even seen like just a shorting out of the chassis. So that could be something interesting to try to find. And then I have one that says someone opened up or my son opened the computer to look at the fans, and then now the system's completely dead. No beeps, no LEDs. I think that one looks pretty interesting. Anyway, I'm just kind of talking amongst myself here. You guys think about the type of thing. Hello, everyone. Hello. So, howdy, retro people. Yeah, we're not doing anything retro today, but 2-1 is a winner, 2-1's a winner. So, let me just put up a little poll real quick. Hey, thanks again for that donation there, Jack. Let's see. I'll put up a poll here, and we will get some votes going. And I would just kind of figure out which one you want to go with here. So, so I'm just going to say the symptom instead of the laptop, okay? So we'll do possible CPU failure. We'll do power rail failure. And not charging. Let's do that. Okay. No charging. I hate whenever I don't spell a word right. Okay, so there's YouTube's poll is up. Premise, do you want to transfer that over, or do you want me to do it? It should be pretty simple. Premise is going to put a poll up over there on Twitch, so you guys vote. You got 20 people over there, so your votes count. Okay, and then I go find the systems. I can't remember which one it is. What we got? Got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And let me pull up the... I hate being behind schedule. I'm really sorry, because then I kind of feel like I'm fumbling around. Let me get the polls pulled up for you. The polls pulled up for you? There we go. Okay, so anyway, now we can chat for a little bit while we're voting. We got about 10 minutes of voting time. Your streams are the best. Well, Firehawk, I hope so, because I put 8 hours a week or plus. I mean, 8 hours on live stream, and then like, you know, you bookend that with some time and all that stuff. It's yeah, it's a lot of work. It's an extra, you know, I feel like it's an extra job altogether. I don't know. I know that we're, you know, building a community. That's kind of the whole purpose of this. But it's, whew, it wears me out. It's just, it's like another job, I feel like. I prefer laptops, I prefer my laptops unopened. Santa Claus. Okay, you have a G5500 keyboard backlight. The strip at the bottom don't work. Made the cables properly seated, update the BIOS. So on the G5500, you didn't change out the keyboard or anything like that, because on those, they're going to have a couple different versions of the MCU board or the communication or the multimedia boards. And so sometimes, like if you're trying to upgrade it or change the keyboard out or whatever it is, you're going to get a different lighting setup, and so you have to match that or convert it, basically. Do you work on desktops too? I do not. I only work on Dell and Alienware laptops. My company specializes exclusively in Dell laptops, and so we stock all the parts, and we're already busy enough. We don't need any desktops in our lives. Repairs are actually a really small part of my business. Last year it ended up being about 7%, which is about double what it was the prior year, but still not very big portion of my business. Found the channel yesterday, watched loads of your videos the whole day. Oh, well, hopefully you enjoyed them. I try to be as methodical as possible, but you know, not speak above everyone's heads. I'm not trying to make anybody feel stupid, but I just kind of giving a thought process on how I diagnose things or what I'm thinking in my head. Ethernet failure. Montgomery, what are you talking about, Ethernet failure? You still have it? The keyboard works great, but my Ethernet, please read my email. Montgomery, I cannot read the email right now. It's the weekend. I'm not answering your email. I'm sorry. It's like I answered your email right before I left on Friday. The Ethernet works perfect, okay? I sent you a dongle. Does it work with that dongle? Okay, if it doesn't work with that dongle, then that means you have an issue with something in your network that's telling your laptop that it's not allowed to connect. It might be a MAC address. It might be something like that. So, let's see. You hate polls. It doesn't show up. So on Twitch, you have to go to the top and press the button or whatever. It kind of drops down. The polls will show up. Let's see. Sound is low. Does everyone think my sound is low? I see it kind of maxing out, it looks like, almost on my side. So should be right on par, unless my microphone, no, it's on here. It's correct. So everyone vote. We have about 10 minutes of this voting time. And this is just our time to kind of do a just chatting while we're doing this. Let's see. Failure. Did I misspell failure? Probably. Yeah. Okay. Don't worry about my misspellings, people. Sound works great. Sounds great. Sounds great. Thank you. You're officially partnered with Dell. If so, how does the process work? So I'm not officially partnered with Dell. I've been doing this for about almost 25 years. 24 years is the company I started. And we buy all Dell's inventory. Dell knows who we are. I have to put a not affiliated with Dell on my website so people don't get mixed up. But a lot of directory assistants, if you look for Dell, it's us that come up. They get our phone number. So a lot of people they call us thinking we are Dell, but not associated with them. And we have plenty of agreements. We basically buy out all of their inventory that they don't want to stock. Not all of it, but we're buying out all the laptop stuff that we can get from them and stock it for after the warranty. So Dell's tech support even recommends us. So if you call them and they say, hey, your computer's out of warranty, hey, you should go to Parts People. That's what they end up doing. So Nathan, an issue with the Thunderbolt. Every time I'm restarting, it's telling me the missing firmware in the Thunderbolt. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I've fixed that issue. You're gonna have to try flashing. That's all I would do is just like try flashing it. And there is a Thunderbolt, an actual whatever BIOS chip for the Thunderbolt, so maybe it could manually be flashed. I've never had to deal with that before. People want to see the CPU reball. I don't want to reball anything. CPU failure, it does look like it's winning. Now the CPU failure is probably going to be the least likely to be solved. I can tell you that. But on this particular machine that it's on, I'm not telling you what it is yet, but I think even on a stream we figured out that like it was just shorting out on the chassis or something like that. But I did have one the other day. Coffee Fun, thank you. I love the Coffee Fun, which I have my coffee right here too. I did have one the other day. Was it the same machine? I think it was the same machine actually. There was a shorted MOSFET on the CPU. Okay. Stay with me. And then I replaced that MOSFET on the CPU, and I either bridged it or kind of set the MOSFET a little crooked or something, whatever it was. But it prevented the laptop from starting the CPU. So then it was giving like a CPU 2.1 error. But once I reflowed that chip, then it fixed it, and then laptop worked. The GPU was still bad, but the CPU started working again. So point being, whatever signal or power rail that the CPU is using, the GPU is also using, and there could be something in there just like a power rail failure. It doesn't mean a bad CPU if you have a 2.1 error. Oh man, wait, I hope the cup of parts organized don't fall. Yeah, I don't want a cup of organized parts to fall anywhere. Some people dig the dongle. What dongle are we talking about? Which shirt am I sporting today? We got the Concur shirt. Concur shirt version 1. I'm probably going to scrap this idea because it just says Concur and it's so out of context nobody understands what it is. But if you watch my streams, do you concur? You concur. I know you do. We got the concurrence is strong with this crowd. How much time we got left here? We got about 4 minutes left on our voting. 29 people. Let's see. You got a lot of people voting on here. Looks like most people are voting for the CPU failure for the most part. Clean your cache. 16-bit system is slow. System won't freeze. I'm doing a favor and volunteering the power rail failure because reballing a CPU does not affect my mental health. I won't be refalling. I mean, I reorganized my area here. I now have another desk over here off to the side that has my reballing station permanently installed instead of me having to move it back and forth, which is nice. I don't have it completely wired up, so I don't have all the cables set up and all that stuff. But the idea would be that it would be easy enough to run the reballing, the BGA machine. But I have this chip right here. I've just reballed it, and I was going to transfer it over. I pulled this one off of a board, and I reballed it, and I was going to put it on another board. And so we could do that one because that one is an obviously shorted CPU, I can tell. When you read my... okay. I like this collared shirt. I don't have color of shirt. Yeah, the red or maroonish shirt. Cup of organized... Oh, behind me. Oh, you see this right here too? Check this out. This is if you like Black Horse, he gave me this Flux 559. And so I'm actually petitioning Black Horse to start making liquid metal remover. Okay, because flux is very sticky. Well, I'm going to have him make a special formula that will be for removing flux. I mean, removing liquid metal using this flux concoction. So, all right. So let's see what else we got going on here. Actually, shorted out a CPU testing voltages. What's my best next move? Oh my god, I don't know. I would. I don't know. I don't like changing CPUs, so it's not something I would just change the motherboard if it's the easiest thing to do. Hi from Germany. When are the live streams? What day? What time? What time do they start? So I can only tell you Central Time. I don't know UTC or anything like that, but Central Time I do 9 a.m. Sunday mornings. So I guess that's probably 1 p.m. for you. And then I do Wednesday evening for us at 6 p.m. Central. So that's 1 in the morning probably, right? Wait, is that way? Wait, I did it the other way around. But anyway, something like that for you guys. Maybe it's 3 in the afternoon today, and then 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the morning on, I guess, Thursday morning then. How much time we got left? We got 1 minute left. Concur. Everyone concurs. What do you think? How he managed a so that laptop, about the 2-month-old laptop, did you guys see that? I put it up yesterday. It looked like it got pretty good traction, so a lot of people saw it. So I did show off that laptop. Because I got this laptop in December, I think. And I showed it off during a stream at one point. I said, hey, check this out. I'm going to do a video on it. And then I did the video. It always takes me a while to process video. So everything's always behind. So it's technically older than 2 months now because it was shipped like August 29th. So when I received it, it was like 2 months exactly. So maybe it was in end of November even. But anyway, it was crazy because it was a repair shop who brought it in, and so he ripped off the guy. Like, I opened it up with you on the video, so I mean, you saw exactly what I saw. But it's just like, I think he must have taken the motherboard out, but not. He just left like the Ethernet jack there or something like that, and they just like ripped that whole thing off. But I've seen plenty of people mangle the antenna wires, and the antenna wire fix was just like, I don't know. It's like, it's easy enough to do that. I wish I could find the ends. Did anyone find the ends of the cables? Like, if I can like just pull that end off and slide a new one on. I was looking online because I need to get a crimping tool to go with it. Like, I replace the nipples all the time. Like, I don't know, a couple weeks. But it's not, the ends of the wires are the hardest part. So, and the other thing that could have been done here, let me grab it, what I have. Because I even looked at doing this. So I have some antennas here. So these are just like these cheap Amazon antennas, and then I also have antennas from any other machine too. But I've done this in the past where I just take these and we just shove them in the base somewhere, which is fine, but it's gonna suck. I mean, maybe it deserved to suck. I don't know. But the way I fixed it worked really well. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Look at that pole. Where's the pointer? That right there. Look at that pole right there. So they tied power rail failure and CPU failure, possible CPU failure. But on YouTube, the CPU failure won. So we're going to have to do that one first, and we'll do power rail failure next. Okay? And, but anyway, let's get going. I don't think we're going to fix this CPU failure, but you never know. You never know. You never know. And you guys love the mystery. I love the mystery. All right, let me go grab it. It is a Alienware m17R5 possible CPU failure. There you go. Premise or JFix or whoever wants to change the title. Let me grab it. M17R5. I got a few of those over here right now. Those are like the bane of my existence, by the way. I do not like them. Sam, I am. I rearranged my whole area over here, so I'm having everything's a little bit different. There we go. This says very little use. So his note says very little use, yet it's a CPU failure. So what's up with that? What do you think? Ugh. Okay, let me cover up his personal information. Okay, you guys get your reading eyes out, because you know me. and my reading skills. We don't need that up there. All right, has very little use, worked great. One day I walked in, it shut down, would not reboot, ran Alienware diagnostics, got a 2-1 error. Wait, what? What? How can you run Alienware diagnostics and get a 2-1 error? That's an oxymoron. So for anybody who doesn't really understand, so the 2-1 error is going to be a blink code, so the laptop will not start up, and then you start getting blinking lights, and then it'll be like 2 red and 1 blue. There's a chart on Dell's website that tells you what all these blink codes are. Now, if you're getting a 2-1, in general, the machine will not turn on. If you're getting a 3-5, in general, the thing will, I mean, so this is like the opposite of what would happen, unless he ran it and then he got it. But anyway. All right, so we're doing an intro. Is that what we want? Bro, intro time. Here we go. So we got m17 RFR, the Ryzen edition. All right. All right, new day and another laptop that needs to be saved. And this time we have an Alienware m17 R5. This is the Ryzen edition. Now, this customer said that they've lightly used this. It's worked great until one day they had an issue, and now it's giving a 2-1 error, which points to a bad CPU. So I haven't taken a look at this yet. Let's take a look together and see if we can get this figured out. How was that? Was that good? No fumbling on that one. The typo. So I'm full of typos. Oh wait, is there a typo up there? Yep. Hey, the typo's in the title, and I didn't type the title. Failure is a really hard word to write correctly. Have you ever edited a video live yet? No, I have not. And my goal is to do this at some point because do you ever watch Joey Does Tech? He's able to actually take his live streams and repurpose them into long forms that are useful. I mean, I think he does some voiceovers in there or something. I got to figure that out on some of the parts that aren't as fluid, because everything's a lot slower in in this, we're not fast paced. We're not cut. So, and then I'm always turning and talking to you and going, what did you say? What did you say? Okay. Anyway, let's clear this stuff out of here. I don't need my USB-C, so we'll throw that away. I will get a couple of new fluxes. I bought this Mechanic Nano Flux that was recommended by one of the viewers, so we're going to try that guy out. I have, what's the other one I got? Well, you already know I have the NF White, and then I have the new 559 from Black Horse. So I love that one. So but I haven't tried this one yet at all, so I don't know how this is going to work out. So we'll see. Okay. All right. So the first thing we want to do is see if it turns on. I'm just going to see if it turns on battery first. I'm going to press the power button, see if we have any lights. This thing does look absolutely brand new, clean, flawless. This thing is not shipped with liquid metal or anything like that, so we can't really think about it being a leaking liquid metal, an LLM situation. But all right, so let me plug in the power. Let's keep an eye on the power meter. Let's see how much current it pulls, or if it pulls anything at all. 0. So right when we plugged in, it said 0. Okay, I'm gonna close the lid. I'm gonna open the lid again. I just want to see if it does anything different. All right, so 0 upon 0 upon 0. That is not right, so I'm going to do it one more time. I just want to see. We should actually get the pop-up, sometimes to 0.1 for a second, but we're going to settle at 0.02. That's what we want. It's 20 milliamps. Now, if I'm plugging in and it's going 0, to me, seems like a short. Seems like a short somewhere on the board. Now, I don't know if anyone's opened this up at all. I don't know if it went to another shop. Did it sound like they went to another shop or not in the note? Did they ever give you the extra details that you're looking for? No, they don't. They don't do it. All right, so I'm going to press the power button now, see if it does anything. And so we got nothing. We got 0 going in. We got 0 here. We got 0 here, 0, 0, 0, 0. So we're not even getting a 2-1. So when are we supposed to get this 2-1 error? So the note says that they ran diagnostics and then got a 2-1 error, which is not even possible, and then we're getting nothing. All right. So let's open up the bottom and take a look inside. So I'm going to use my super drill here because it's faster. Yes, this is an old drill they were used in factories. I think it was used in the Dell factories in the late 90s and early 2000s. And I had bought a number of these back in the day, and I still have some. We fixed the spelling of failure. All right, and the bottom is off. Oh my gosh, look how new this thing looks, okay? So I'm not seeing a single flaw in here. This thing looks like it was purchased yesterday. And so there's no reason for it to be messed up. Uh-oh, my overhead's about to shut off. Why is that? I could see the battery. Hold on, guys. We're about to lose power on my overhead camera. Give me a second here. I'm going to reboot it real quick. It thinks the charger's not plugged in for some reason, the USB, and so it's running on battery. All right, let's see if that works. Okay, it says it's plugged in now. We'll see if it stays on. These cameras, I'm tired of them. I'm done with them. I bought 2 of these Nikon Z30s because they have pretty good picture. The price is about right, but I have like cooling pads on the back and extra things, and I have to put dummy batteries, and I have to trick it into staying on. And it's just like they overheat or they don't want to charge or whatever. So anyway, back to the repair. All right, so this thing looks perfectly flawless, brand new. We have a Dell OEM battery. It looks like it's in good condition. There's a serial number. 2 NVMe slots. This one's populated. This one's not populated. Some DDR5. This is worth a lot of money at this point, right? So I don't know how much do we have here. Can't tell. 8 gigs, so that's 16 gigs of DDR5. That should be worth about $100, $150. Camera repair time. I've taken apart cameras before and I've rebuilt them, and it's not even worth it. But you can buy sensors. You can buy you can buy a lot of these parts if you wanted to. What does the energy on the meter mean? So energy is just like watt hour used. I just reset it the other day, but it wasn't like 7,000 or something. So as you're using voltage and current, it creates power, and as power is run, it's basically building that up over a period of time. It's just saying watt hours. How many watts have you used in a certain number of hours? This was like at 8,000 or something like that. So I just reset it. Okay, back to the lecture at hand. Okay, so we're going to unplug the main battery. I was going to perform a CMOS reset on so I'm just going to perform a CMOS reset on it. So we're just going to unplug the main battery. We're going to hold down the power button just for a couple seconds and try to clear anything that's garbled inside the BIOS. I'm going to keep the battery unplugged. We don't need the battery on here or installed to turn this thing on. We're going to plug that in again. We're going to see if it actually moves up and down, but it's not. So we're still sitting there at 0, 0, 0. This is why it's very useful to have a meter like this to plug in the power. If you see it just sit there at 0, we have to have a short on the board. There's really nothing that will cause this type of issue. So, and I guess I didn't hit the power button, but I should have seen it pop up at all. But the main MOSFETs are protecting the system, and yeah, it's doing nothing. So, so what we have is a set of protection MOSFETs on the input. Now, let me just show you. We'll get under the microscope. All right, so here is where the DC jack plugs into the board. So our voltage is going to be coming in through this area. Let me get something to point with. Is it a reflector? There we go. All right, so the 20 volts is going to come through these pads right here. It's going to go through these 4 inductors. It's going to go through these pair of MOSFETs. Okay, so these are going to be worked together. So the voltage is going to come through both of these. And then it's going to go through another pair of MOSFETs, and then it's going to energize this current sense resistor. All right, then it's going to come over here, and let's see, which way does it go? Then it goes through this 20 volt, or the 20 volts is going to be going through this coil here. This is going to be for the charge of the battery right here, and that's going to be the charge coil going there. And then we're going to have it come, I think it goes this way, and it goes through these current sense resistors over to the CPU and GPU, and then we're going to energize the rest of the power rails and all that stuff after that. So what we want to see if we have voltage here, voltage here, voltage here, voltage here. I almost guarantee we have a short here or here, one of these 2 spots, okay? Based on the symptoms we have. And if we do have a short here and here, then it means that these are being told to turn off because it detects a short on the motherboard, and it's trying to keep everything safe. And so it's doing a good job doing that. So let's just start out by just measuring voltage. So we might be able to save this thing if it's actually giving a 2-1, but we're just getting a short. All right, so we're going to measure right here. Oh, wait, I got to plug in the charger, though. Plug in the charger. All right, we're going to plug in the charger, and my meter is not displaying on the screen. Marvelous, darling. See if I can get that fixed. Everything's falling apart today. Of course. It's not connecting. Come on, baby. There we go. We got movement. Okay, so back to what we were doing. So I'm going to measure right here. We should get 20 volts. We do. All right, so if these things are turned on, we should have 20 volts on the other side of this. We do not. And then we do not have 20 volts here, which we shouldn't have 20 volts here, right? Makes sense? But we're getting 0.04. A lot of times what that means, if you have 0.04, you either have that's an active voltage, or you have that as being a voltage that's on some capacitors that got partially charged temporarily, and then it's, you know, discharging itself. So I'm going to unplug the charger while I'm measuring this and then plug it back in. I want to see if it spikes to 20 volts for a second and goes back down. It doesn't. So if you're looking at me do this, well, you can't see it, but it's unplugged. I'm plugging it in. And it doesn't spike up to 20 volts for a second and then start sagging back down to that 0.04. It's actually sitting at a stagnant 0.04, which most likely to me means that we have some sort of short over here, okay? So let's put it in continuity mode. Let's measure that main power rail and see what we're getting. So we have the battery unplugged, the charger unplugged, and I will just measure right here and see if we get a beep. We have a beep. We have a beep! I can't believe. Now the beep that we have is 19 ohms, okay? So look at the measurement there. That's very high. Let's measure over here. Let's see if we get anything lower. 19 ohms is very high, people. 19 ohms, okay. So in general, when you're getting a measurement that's that high, it's not going to be something like a CPU or GPU, for one thing. Because a lot of times we worry about when you have a short, what is it shorted to or through to get back to ground, right? Because it's trying to find the path to ground. So right now our main power rail, which is 20 volts, that 20 volts goes and creates the 5 volt, the 3.3, the 1.8, the 1.05, or 1.2. This has DDR5, so it only has a 5 volt. Anyway, it creates a bunch of power rails, and then it also produces the CPU and GPU power rail. Now, if you have a short on something, right, like a capacitor shorted to ground, so it could be on the main power rail's capacitor, so it's shorting the 20 volts straight to ground. That would be like a wire, and then that would be almost a 0 ohm resistance. If you're shorting through another power rail, then you're basically having another power rail try to turn on, and then it shorts through that. If it's shorted through the CPU and GPU, you'd be at like 4 ohms or, you know, less than an ohm. Anyway, we're at 19 ohms. That's really high. You know what's also really hard about that, or really bad about that, is it's almost impossible to inject enough voltage to get anything to heat up. Because you're going to say, oh, all right, let's inject some voltage, man, let's do it. Well, if you do the math, you would need a lot of voltage to get enough current to create enough heat or power based on that 19 ohms. So whenever most people inject voltage on boards, are going to be like a 1 ohm short or below, sometimes 3 ohms or something like that. But you're sticking at 1 volt. You don't want to go much above that. So I think the first thing we need to do is just pull this board out, do a physical inspection. Let's see if we see anything obvious. Probably what we have is a short on a different power rail, not the main power rail or something like that. Reverse polarity, we could do that. Physical inspection time is what I'm thinking. So I think that's probably the best bet. Now, the reason this thing failed, I have no idea. This doesn't make sense. It's a beautiful laptop, still is in good condition, barely used. So we can also, let me take out some devices first, actually. Let's do that. Because, you know, we could have a bad stick of DDR5, which I've seen so many of those. DDR5 to me is, I don't like it. I'd rather have DDR4. And the reason being is DDR5 sticks have, we're still there, have its own little power supply on here, okay? So that can be good and bad, but every stick of DDR5 has its own little, I don't know, power rail producer or whatever you want to call it. And so you give this the stick 5 volts, and then it does its own little thing with it, right? Well, these things have a tendency of burning themselves out or shorting themselves out. They get so hot, right? And so I don't know. I don't know if I've seen as many. Like this year, I've probably seen 20 laptops that come in that had shorted RAM, shorted DDR5, and that's it. That was all that was wrong with it. So I'm just going to unplug this. We'll see if the thing changes. Now, we should get a different error if we had the DDR having an issue. But so let's check that main power rail again. Now we're down to 18. It is lowering. Let's take it off of continuity mode. Let's just see what it is on just regular ohms mode. 18. And we can also do diode mode just to see what that does. So in diode mode, you actually have to put the red probe on ground. So 0.01 volts. So, and this could be a low side MOSFET that's partially shorted. What do you think about that? Because that could be, I've seen that. I'm trying to think of what would produce 19 volts. Everyone talking about lag spikes or something? Do we have a stream issue? Oh, let me close this vote. Yeah, sorry about that. Vote's out of the way. Okay, what was I doing? You've seen failures on DDR5s that are soldered on. Hello, everyone. Dave. Dave's Unbranded is here. Welcome, buddy. Welcome. We need you, buddy. We need you. When are you attempting to replace the CPU? I don't know if I'm going to do that on this one. Let's start unplugging stuff. Like I said, we need to diagnose exactly what the issue is. We've replaced CPUs on the stream in the past, and it was utterly boring. I do have a faster process to it now, and so it's a little less boring, but I still have not had a successful transplant, which is crazy, man. It's crazy. The Wi-Fi card? Could be the Wi-Fi card. So we're unplugging all this stuff, and then we're just going to test again. All right. Love your content, buddy. Well, Timothy, I love you showing up to the live stream. Appreciate it. 19 ohms, not volts. Yes, 19 ohms. Right, 19 ohms. All right, so now I have some more stuff unplugged. Let's just measure again. Right there. 17 ohms. We're getting lower. We're getting lower. I bet it's the 5 volt rail. Okay. So this is the 20 volt rail, 17 ohms. This is the battery rail, 7K. Okay. But we get the other power rails on the other side of the board, so we have to pull it apart. Good evening from UTC +3. And I'm -5 or -6, depends on what time of year it is. I'm going to put some tunes on. Sorry, I forget. I was like having a little bit of tunes on in the background. I was just kidding. Seriously, just adjusting the Wi-Fi card. Well, I have had shorted out Wi-Fi cards in the past, so it's not far-fetched. And if we're trying to figure out or isolate the board on what is causing an issue, we unplug everything. That's how it is. So, not an easy pizza. Oh yeah, I forgot to unplug these. So these are going to be the touchpad and keyboard, and I've seen those cause a short before. I've also seen like the LED on the power button cause a short before. So I'm going to unplug all these cables. So now we have the board completely isolated. Nothing's plugged into the board. The only other thing we could unplug would be, well, here's the speakers, is this daughter board and this daughter board over here. So maybe they jam something in a USB port if you're saying it's a 5 volt rail. So measure again. We're back to 18, 17, 18, whatever it takes. So that's still not it. Testing 1, 2, 3. Premise. Hey, there's Wes. Wes, I was trying to figure out what your handle was there, Wes. I'm gonna make I'm modding Wes, by the way, but I could not find your handle. So give me a second here. Darn it. Give me a second. I gotta remember how to do this mod. West 005. There you go. Wes, you are mod on Twitch. What's your YouTube handle? Is it the same thing? Snow? I wish I had snow. I don't want snow, actually. I think everyone else is having snow. Got a snow shovel. Are you allowed to tag Nathan? Tag, you're it. You can tag me all you want. Tar, thanks for the Prime sub. All right, Wes, you are mod. You want to try out some of the commands? So if you do exclamation point, I can't remember. I have all the camera views you can change. I'll have to send you all the commands, actually. But you can just do a bell command, exclamation point bell. We've reached our sub goal. Nice. It's cold enough in Florida. Today it was below freezing, so I don't like the cold at all. I'm completely done with the cold already, and it's barely even wintertime. Four degrees in the UK. Yeah, I think right now it's about 4 degrees here. It was -1 or 2. We got a bell command, but you got to Wes, with the bell, you have to do words afterwards because it rings the bell, but then it doesn't put words on the screen because I'm looking for the next thing you write, but it worked for you. It's warm in my office at least, yeah. I don't even have to put a jacket on. But this heater in this area doesn't work that well. Only mods can do the bell command, except if you do a super chat, then it does the bell command. So you can pay to do a bell command, but the mods can do the bell command. Hello from Germany. -13 in Nebraska. 13C, okay. Because I was going to say, that's pretty cold if you're doing Fahrenheit. 14C. Well, I guess -14 is still pretty cold. Because what, -20 is in -20C and Fahrenheit, they match up. Is that right? Or am I making that up? It's humid in Singapore. I'm sure it's going to get to like 80 degrees tomorrow here. That's how it is. All right, the motherboard is out. So this is the machine. I believe we have, no, actually it's the 15-inch version of the same motherboard that shorts out on the chassis. So this one has a bunch of spacers that are supposed to keep the board off the ground. Sometimes we see it where the keyboard bends in, but I'm not seeing an issue there. So once we have this off, then we can test to see if the short's gone. Because sometimes it's, you know, again, a short on the chassis. All right, what do we got? 19 ohms. All right. Okay, Wes, is that your Wes 32. Is it 032 Wes? Okay, let me see if I can find that. Give me a second for your name here. Copy. Wesley, okay, save. All right, it should be good now on YouTube. Go ahead and give it a try, Wes. Okay, all right, so let's see if the, we already checked, the short is not gone. All right, so physical inspection is the next part. I'm tired of getting distracted here, but I keep trying to multitask. We're talking about weather. But we have the board out now, so we can at least do our physical inspection. Now, the purpose of doing the physical inspection is that We don't know what's causing the short, and then we can also measure the power rails that also could be causing the short, but we don't know where it is. Now we have, any power rail is going to be one of these coil outputs right here, so these are going to be the output of a power rail. And then we need to figure out if we have a cracked component, a burnt component, or something like that. That's why we want to look around. Let me just check these coils while we have it up. See what these are measuring at. So none of these are shorted. This one's 37 ohms, which is fine. You know, 19 ohms. 19 ohms. Hey, could that be VRAM? That could be VRAM. Is this it right here? No. VRAM, it depends on who manufactures the VRAM, right? If it's Samsung versus Micron. I can't remember what the ohms is on that. Let me take the heatsink off too. But again, so we have the power rails can power different things, right? So the VRAM is one of them, and the resistance is fairly high on that. PCH is like 30 to 40 ohms usually. All right, so this heatsink's never been taken off. So again, when we take these things off, we want to rock them back and forth. We want to unstick them, and then we want to lift them up. We don't want to just grab them because we don't want to bend the heatsink. There we go. And it's off. And we have factory stuff on here, which is fine, but it's not liquid metal. And it has the Ryzen 9, which is the only laptops I ever have to work on that's this model. The Ryzen 9 chips are just plagued with problems. I don't know if it's a heat-related issue or what. So here's our main power rail. I just want to measure what we have over here too, just to be extra diligent here. So main power rail would be this stuff. So we got 15 ohms. 15 ohms, and if we measure the CPU itself, we got 3 ohms. Right, so it's not matching. We don't have one of these shorted out, so that's what these are commonly shorted on this machine, where the voltage will come through here and go straight through this, through the CPU. So that's not what's shorted. If we come over here and measure, here's going to be the power stages for the GPU, which should be even lower ohms. Let's see. So we got 14 going in, and then the output is 0.3, 0.2. So it's almost dead zero. And then where's our VRAM? So here's our VRAM. So these are our VRAM power supplies. Now this is kind of what I'm thinking is going to be. I don't know at this point, but I'm just kind of trying to think what would cause that type of voltage. We're at 35 ohms for that. 35 ohms. So input's 15 ohms, and then the output is 35 ohms. So that's not it. That's not a match. So neither one of these are shorted. And then these guys, what were these again? Nothing, nothing, and this was 36, so about the same as that. I don't know what could be 19 ohms or 15 ohms, and that's on the 15, I guess, but we're gonna just plug the board in, I guess. Although we don't have any current going, right? So we don't have any current going in the board, we can't tell what the heck would be that ohms. 45. Sometimes you have one of these be, well, we got 10 on this one. Sometimes one of these are isolated. So you can see that all these are tied together, and this one's isolated, it's on its own, but it's only 10. You guys telling me something? Voltage injection is coming. Well, we're gonna try voltage injection, but I don't think it's gonna go very far. So 15 going in, 10 going out. That's not a winner. That's not a winner. What's this stuff? Is that flux? All right. All right, so what do you think? Should we take these daughter boards off now? I mean, we have to try to isolate this thing all the way down to nothing, right? We need to make sure that it's in the motherboard before we start just spending all this time. So we got USB ports, check USB ports. I'm just gonna take the USB ports off. Use thermal camera. We have to be able to inject enough voltage to get the thermal camera to light up, but we will probably end up using it. All right, so go back and check it again. $15 ohms. It's funny that we're getting down lower and lower every time we take something off. Do you only do repairs? Or you'd be interested in microelectronics in general? Maybe a stream collab one day with somebody. Whoever wants to do a stream collab, we can do it. It's hard to do a stream all by yourself every single or twice a week. All right, so we have nothing on the board still. Let's just look around. Use thermal camera. I don't think thermal camera's gonna do anything yet, but let's just look around real quick like. Wish I had that heads-up display in my thing here. So we're gonna start in this corner here. This has never been opened up, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's see how... Get the polarizer just right for you guys. Makes it a little dark for me. There we go, I'll brighten that up. There we go, that looks nice. Okay, so what we're looking for is discolorations or shorted stuff. So we're gonna have something that's partially shorted if we have 19 ohms. There's a couple fuses right there. That's gonna be for the alien head. We have a fuse here for the backlight. But fuses are far in between. We never really have that issue very often. So if you see something, just shoot a bell up on the screen because I can't see what you're saying. And I'm just going to kind of scroll. Let me know if I'm going too fast. I just have to, I mean, it looks clear enough to me, but we'll go all the way to this corner. Here's going to be a power button if we can turn it on if we want when we don't have it in the machine. That's going to be for the Wi-Fi card. The Tron lights. All right, so here's the DDR5 slots. We're going to look under some of these things here. I believe this is the 3 volt and 5 volt power rail stuff. I believe so, based on memory. There's our alien head. Touchpad. So that's the power management IC. That's what controls these MOSFETs over here. I guess that could be partially shorted maybe. Seems like it would work off a battery though if we did that. And if we have a short on the main power rail. Reduce the speed to 0.857. Alright, so got more stuff here. There's crystal. Okay. And that's going to be our EC chip. Don't think we have an EC chip issue, but something shorted, so we don't know. We're going to have to do something to figure that out. 20 ohms, 15 ohms. Well, if we can rule out the CPU and the GPU being an issue, then we can actually inject higher voltage. So I guess that's a good thing. I think this is our 3 volt and 5 volts there. That's our BIOS chip. I'm not sure what these go to over here. I mean, there's a CPU, so it's going to have something to do with some of that stuff. There's our driver for all those guys. I don't see anything, guys. I do not see anything. If you ever measure 42 ohms and never find the answer, you found the answer. 42? 42 is going to be the what? Chipset? All right, that's all I got. So physical came up with a big 0. All right. So we got CPU, GPU, VRAM are good. So maybe it's time to do the thermal camera, and we can inject 10 volts to the main power rail. 6.7, 6.7. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Since we are pretty confident that the CPU and GPU are isolated, then we can inject higher voltage, and so we don't have to worry about it. A lot of times you want to keep it right at that 1 volt level. So I think it's what we're going to have to do. Let me get the thermal camera set up at least. Make sure that's ready to go, ready to rock and roll. All right, that is ready to go. What about CPU SoC coil? Is that this end coil down here? I don't know if we did measure that or not, actually. So we got 55 ohms on that one, and this one was the 20, I think. 40, no, 40? Is that right? Wait a minute. Yeah, 43. So 43. This one is 10. And we have 15 going in, 15 ohms going in. These are all going to be the 4 ohms or 3 ohms for the CPU itself. Yep. And then this one was 40s. So it's not one of those. Good guess, though. You only need a few volts to get up to 19 ohms. So, well, let me do that. We're going to have to use my power supply, though. I mean, we can use the voltage injection tool. I can get up to like 3 volts or something like that. So we can try that. All right, I'll start with 1.5 volts. See what that does. And I'm going to start on this side. Yeah, and I guess we're down to 15 ohms, so maybe that's good. Maybe that's more doable than 20 ohms for sure. So 1.5 ohms. I'm just going to inject it right here on this main power rail right there. So we got a little something being pulled, but not much. So we're going to try to get up to an amp at least. So we'll go to 2 volts. Oops. Slipped. I'm just going to keep an eye on the CPU and GPU first. So here's our CPU, there's our GPU. I don't see anything getting warm there, which is good. So we're going to go up a little higher. 3 volts. Gosh, I keep slipping to the ground. Let me raise this up so you can see a bigger view. So I don't have anything going in there. That's a reflection over here. All right, I don't see anything on this side so far. So let's flip it. I mean, we can do, I don't know how high this thing can go because I've never actually went that bit higher. 4 volts? This thing goes to 4 volts. I didn't even know that. Johnny 5 needs input. All right, I'm going to flip it over. Inject around the power management chip. Okay, I'll do that in a second. Let me just stick with these main power rails first, because I haven't found anything that's a lower resistance, but we actually haven't really looked. What about over there? What about over here? No? No, that's a reflection. Right here. Right there. Right there a little bit. You see it? Okay, I'm going to let off. Go back on. But there's nothing here. I'll show you where that is heating up. Very faint. So it's heating up right here. So what's on the other side of the board right here? Because it's diffuse. All right. Yeah, it's 4 volts, 0 amps. But the way that works is this thing doesn't ever tell you anything except when you get over an amp. And so that's because it's an injection tool for that. But I can hear the sound. So it's probably doing, I would say 200 milliamps, 300 milliamps, something like that. All right, so I'm putting my finger on the other side of the board, and we're trying to identify exactly where the other side is. It's right here somewhere. We found it! We found it! Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So just that little diffuse heat. We saw that little diffuse heat, and there it was. Bingo. Physical inspection missed it because I didn't pull this thing off. So we would have saw that. All right, so there's our guy. Now, whether it's caused more damage than that, I don't know. But if he was getting a 2-1 error, so this thing was failing, and then now the machine's not coming on at all, we have multiple issues. Hey, thanks for that, Dennis. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for the streams. I'm an old school Navy electronics tech and now repairing ATMs and money recyclers. Thanks again. Oh, awesome. That sounds like a fun hobby or a fun thing to do. Well, thank you so much for that. You guys are so generous. All right, so what do you think? You think we found it, right? So is that trace going to look okay? So I don't know what rail this is. So here's our big trace. And then this looks like these 3 pads connect here. And we got a little bit of cauterization going on. This chip looks a little fugly. Oh yeah, look at that, it's just disintegrating. So, all right, let's get this guy removed. Let's see what we can come up with. Now, it almost does make sense that we have a 2-1, well, he had a 2-1 error at some point, which is a CPU failure, because if this is pulling this low, probably the CPU needs that. And then eventually this thing completely, I guess the ohms the resistance started growing or getting lower, I guess, and producing or preventing it from coming on. So is that a 5-volt rail? I don't know. I don't know what it is. We can see if we can look that up real quick. Let me see if I can look that up. And this is a what board is it? 761. I don't think I have this board, but we will see what we have. 761. I don't have a 761. Oh, I do. Okay. Okay, so the chip that we're looking at is right here. I believe it's this one. PU1801, PU1801. So it's this guy. So this is a 1.8. It's a 19 volt 1.8. And I guess there's some 3.3s, 1.8. There's a lot of stuff going on over here. But 19 volt, I guess, producing the 1.8. So let's get this removed and we can play around with it. See if we can get it rebuilt. Soren would fix the chip itself. Yeah, I guess that I'm slacking if we're just going to replace the chip. Right to repair, man. Right to repair. You need to do the sniff test. I don't smell it, actually. It's crazy. For it being that, I mean, this thing's like, I usually keep a penny over here. I don't have a penny anymore. Oh yeah, here's my penny. I like keeping my penny around. There's my penny. So, it's pretty tiny. It's not as tiny as some things I work on. But, there you go. For scale. Alright, so we're going to remove this guy, and hopefully we'll be able to put a new one on there. A brand new one, because we only put brand new chips on, right? What does it taste like? 8 amps step down. Oh, really? But 8 amps step down. It's people know everything. I don't know nothing. All right, so we use this mechanic stuff. So we're gonna try out this stuff. Beautiful. It's nice and clear. Looks kind of like the NF Flux. All right, this thing's pretty burnt on here, so we're going to take our time. Dell does not provide board views or schematics, and I don't have any. So what you just saw was just something I made up. I don't actually have any. They don't provide them, and you didn't see them here. There we go. All right, careful, careful. We don't want to rip any pads. Good. All right, got that side off. So let's see if we can get this side off. So this is the charred part that I'm worried about, and we want to be very careful because we don't want to. I don't want to have to rebuild that. If we have to, we'll have to, but I don't want to. I don't want to. Is that the NanoFlux? It's the NanoFlux. That's right. The NanoFlux is in the house. So we're going to have to add some solder to this. This is so you can tell this has been welded to the board, and you can see the traces starting to lift up a little bit. So when this has been welded, the actual metal has fused together. I don't want to heat that too much. Let me see if I can add some solder. Soda. I need some solder. That's pretty burnt. Pretty burnt. Yeah. So we'll see if we can just flood it. I doubt this will come off. I bet we're just gonna make it worse, but we'll see. I might just have to rebuild that area. But I don't wanna. It's kind of coming off. Got some of it. Might need to grind the rest of it. The short was not that bad because that's the trick of it, was like a high ohms short, which kind of falsifies or gives different signals or reasons. So, there it goes. It just broke off. So yeah, it gave a 2-1 error saying its CPU is bad, even though its CPU wasn't bad. So. Are all the same 19 volts nailed? I don't know. Most of the 19 volts are all together. They may have a secondary one, but on gaming laptops, you're using the 19 volt for pretty much everything, or the main 20 volts or whatever. So, all right. Let me clean that up. We'll see. I bet our short's gone. Here's our short. Main power rail. The short is gone. And the short is gone. The short is gone. Oh gosh, that was horrible. Let me clean this up. Walk away for 10 minutes. What happens? Visual inspection. Burnt component. Yeah, so so Grady, what happened is we injected voltage, which shoot, I'm out of alcohol. We injected voltage and we saw like a lightly diffuse heat on the other side of the board. We were only injecting 4 volts with like 200 milliamps or something. And then we flipped over the board and it was hidden underneath the flap. Measure, the short is gone. I just did. A little for the homies. All 3 of the pins are to go, yes, go together. They're all connected together. It's a big trace, big track. Don't be a quitter, Nate. I'm not quitting anything. Oh yeah, but I haven't drinking all month. Ugh, and I did a 6.5 mile bike ride this morning even. I've done that every single day this month. And boy, are my legs tired. All right, so what do you think? Do you think we can just move the chip over enough in order to make contact with those, or we're going to have to rebuild that whole area? What do you think? See how that pad's gone? Because when we're cleaning it, it's like completely... Ugh. 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 All right, so this whole area right here is one big track, and then it kind of went into this area. So whenever you put this chip back on, it will make contact with those 3 pins, and this is the 4th pin. There's 4 pins on each side, so we got 1 pin here and then 3 across here. So now I have a piece of copper that I could stick here. Some people have been saying to use solder wick, which I've never used for that. So we could try that. I don't know how big is solder wick. It seems messy because it's so braided. But maybe for the mounts they were talking about that. I don't know. But I have a piece of the foil tape or the copper foil that I can use. But yeah, let's just show you the short is gone again. Let's go over to the CPU area. So here's the main power rail on the CPU. See this big fat trace here, and then we just measure there, and we got no short. So, is that a via? Is this destroyed pad? No, it's no via. Well, at least it doesn't look like that to me. There's a via next to it. So this middle thing is a little star via, but I'd figure that's a ground or something. So let's just grab a donor board. Let me pull that chip off. We can look at what it looks like, what it's supposed to look factory-like. So let me grab one of these boards, and luckily I have stacks of them. I have a plethora of these boards because they're the vein of my existence. You want some of these? You want some of these? Come on, buddy, I got a stack of them. They're not all exactly the same, but they're pretty much the same board. Let me find one that I've already stolen parts off of, like this one. So it's 761. Nope, it's not the same board. Not the same board. Here's a 761. Just put it in an order. Just put an order in. Yeah, I'm going to order it right now. Hey, thank you. I'm going to order it, and we'll wait for it. Nothing I hate more than having to not finish something. Send them my way, Nathan. Thank you. Yeah, I've already referred a few people over to your premise, by the way. I don't know if you've gotten the referrals, but they have been very happy. So I have my customer service team know that you do the repairs now too. All right, so this is what factory is supposed to look like. And so this is our brand new chip. You remember we were talking, we were saying that we only replace the chips with brand new chips. So here's our brand new one. Never been used ever, not even once. And so we're going to take this one off and we're going to move it over here. But we're going to want this to be rebuilt good enough. But I'm going to pull this off. The magic smoke came out. I want to pull this one off because I want to take a look and see what factory looks like underneath, all right? If you don't mind, let's just do that first. What happened to this board? I don't know. The machine was in beautiful condition, right? I mean, everyone can attest to that. So it looked like it really never been used much. And then they said that they had some sort of error and then it was giving a CPU failure. And so they sent it in and we kind of chose this one thinking I wasn't going to be able to fix this. So I'm glad that it looks like we might be able to fix this. It still could have had some surge that went to something that doesn't need to go there. Transplant chips are great. Yes, and I am definitely lucky because I have a pile of donor boards, a pile of parts. Let's see. All right, while I'm taking this chip off, everyone hit the thumbs up on the video on YouTube, if you don't mind. This takes a second. We'll see if we can get to 800 likes on the video before it's over. That'd be kind of nice. All right, got that. Move this out of the way. All right, so here's the way the chip's going to line up. And what I wanted to look at is I want to see if we can actually get this thing to set in here properly. Yeah, we're not even close to where we would need to line up because sometimes you can kind of get away with shifting it down a little bit, but we're not going to be able to shift it down that far. So let me put this in a safe place so I don't lose it. And let's see what factory looks like. Oh, factory is nice. Factory is nice. All right, so this is the area we're gonna have to rebuild, this whole little area right there. But we can do it. We can do it. I know we can. But everything else looks okay, right? Everything else looks okay. All right, so what is this? Is this nothing right here? That's just a break, right? I'm talking to myself. So this is just an isolating thing area. This is like an island and a via. So we just don't want anything to, we don't want those to touch, and we don't want those to touch, and we don't want that to touch. So we just need this to come up far enough. Okay. Oh, copper tape it is. That's going to be to the rescue. So we're going to have to rebuild that trace using copper tape. So let me grab our copper tape. Let me turn this crappy sound off here. All right. Let's see what we got. Where's my copper tape at? Of course, I don't have it readily handy. I have it like in some box. There we go. So here's my copper tape. Okay. Oh, do you concur? Do you concur? I concur. All right. What did we get our likes up to while we were taking that chip off? Did it actually move by me saying something? Okay. I like this song. We concur. Everyone concurs. All right, so here's the copper tape I use. I don't know if I have links to this anywhere, but I think I just searched for copper tape. What I don't like about this is it does have adhesive on the back, and so I end up scratching it off. Kind of the trick that I use is that I'll solder this face down, so I'll put it down like that, and then I'll put all the solder mask on there, and then I'll take off or scratch off all this sticky stuff, and then it's perfect. It's brand new. I think we have enough tape, yes. So this roll will last me forever, because basically what I'm going to rip off is this little tiny piece like this, and then I'm only going to use a little sliver of this. So I'm going to cut this off into like this, the littlest piece ever. So, what exactly is the current rating of the copper tape? I don't know. Do you want to put our thing to it? Let's make it smoke. Here we go. What current rating do we need it to have? So I will take my voltage injection tool. This is for science people. Voltage injection tool. We will clip on right here. And then we will just touch it with the other side. 35 amps, was that good enough for you? Let's see how hot the tape got. I don't know if I want to do 35 amps too long. I don't want to break my box here. Let's put it down to 1 volt. All right, you ready? 35 amps. I don't want to hold it on there. I'm going to break my thing. There you go. There's 12 amps. It's not even getting too hot. It's not starting fire. I think 12 amps is enough. What do you think? Do you think it passed the test? Do you think this tape is regulation? Set it to 11. I don't want to. You guys are crazy. What happened to my tape? Oh, still hooked on this alligator clip. Okay, so the tricky part is trying to get the right size, and yeah, it's tricky. Nothing not tricky about it. So we're gonna go down as small as we can here. And so here's a piece of tape I cut, just so you know the size is huge, right? And we only need like a little square. Now, do you think I should use something else? Anybody? People use wires all the time. I don't use wires. I always just use this foil here. So I usually just cut a little piece. So we're going to do a sliver. Something like that. So we start out with a sliver there. And then I have to start using tweezers to pick it up. And so I want to get the width right first. So the width is still a little wide, so we're going to skinny it up a little bit. She's a little girthy. Okay. Trim that girth off of there. All right, how are we doing now? All right, that looks perfect to me. Hopefully everyone concurs. So the next trick would be, you know, have to get the right depth. And so I'm going to solder it upside down, and we can tear it off afterwards. We can do that. Or we can try to cut it to the right length already. Oh my gosh. I hate this. Not a fan, Stan. That's why I get paid the not big bucks. Okay. So we're going to go like that. Let me cut off a piece. Wick is messy. That's the problem with wick. I would feel like it has all the strands that go everywhere, and especially if we have a lot of stuff we're dealing with that's nearby. We can't afford to have a piece, you know, touching something else. So I can see, the thing about this is that we have both of these are connected to the same area. At least I believe it is. Is that right? Because we don't have to worry about it going up on top of those, right? So that's what it looks like. So if we cut a piece that just kind of like overlap this whole area, I don't really care. Like if it comes over here and then goes all the way over here, cool with me. As long as I can get this lined up right, and that if it goes all the way over there, I don't care. So that's kind of like my thought, at least. So let me get a second set of tweezers. You can't Dremel or weld. Yeah, usually I Dremel down the welded spot, but it ended up breaking off. So if I hold this like right here, I'm trying to get lined up with those, like that. Scoot over just a little bit. Again, this has sticky. I'm doing it face down because the sticky's on this side. All right, so I can solder that in place. We can probably try to rip it off after that too. See if I can get this to stick. All right, so that's actually in place. Now this is pretty close. You think we're okay with that? That little line there? It's pretty close. So I don't know, what do you think? Should I move it over? This is our time to do it. I think we might be okay though. Now I'm gonna fix this end. I know that you guys are yelling at me. It's overflowing over the side of those pieces right there. And I was like, I don't care about that right now. What I care about is trying to get this lined up exactly in the right area. So that's what I'm focused on. Okay, so bottom 3 pins are all connected together. Yes, they are. We got to send it. We got to rotate 180 degrees. So you're thinking we should use this side on this one because it's thinner? I think you're onto something with that. I think you're onto something. So I think you're right. Let me do that. See if I can get this thing back off of here. I'm going to rotate it because I did have one side that was a little thinner. There we go. Get off of there. No. This is not hard at all, by the way, people. This is the easiest thing I've ever done. Do you guys want me to put the penny out again to show you how big this is I'm dealing with? Okay. All right, so we're going to set that like that. Yeah, is it a little bit better? Okay, that's better, I think. So I'm going to hold that in place. Okay. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. All right, so we're going to try to break off that end piece there that's going up over the... it's like soldering a flea. It is pretty much like soldering a flea. So I'm going to try to break this part off right here so it doesn't look so janky. the less janky or dodgy or whatever you want to say. God, the focus is killing me. Are you guys in focus? Because my focus just keeps going out a little bit. Every time I kind of push pressure on the board, it changes focus. All right, let me cut this. Cut that piece. Cut that piece, man. You're touching the via? Okay, I'm going to check that. Yeah, I am a little bit close to that via. We'll move that out of the way. Let me cut this. Cut this. I'll cut this part if I can. Maybe I'll just fold that over. I don't know. Okay, that's good. I don't know. It doesn't look pretty. Okay. All right, so let me get all this solder off of here. I mean, the sticky off of here, because now there's a bunch of sticky junk everywhere. And now it's time for the double it. I don't want it, if you make it any double, if you double it over, then it gets too tall. That's the problem with that. So we need it to stay as low as possible, and that's what ends up happening is that whenever you do this, it gets too tall and the chip can't set down, and then you have problems like pressing down. Dodgy. It's a familiar word. All right, so I'm going to try to get the sticky off without having this whole thing move. No! Don't you do it! No! It's moving! Okay. Oh my gosh. I think it's going to have to stay ugly. Okay. I think it's staying ugly, people. Because when we put the chip on it, nobody will ever know anything happened. I just need to get all this sticky out of here, though. Oh my gosh, that via. Okay. All right, that's not too bad, actually. It's almost respectable. Yeah, ugly doesn't matter if it works, but pretty does make me feel good. All right, that looks good. That looks good. The spacing's fine there. I think we're actually good. So I just want to make sure we have fresh solder on everything, and then we can just install that chip, and then the machine should just turn on and work, and then it's it's better than factory. Oh, I like to say it like nothing ever happened, but we'll see. See if we get it that close. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to touch it with some solder again, but I'm just going to do all these pads first. Come on, there we go. There we go. Okay. I'm not even going to put any solder mask on it because I'm crazy. I'm not even going to do it. I'm not going to do it. All right, let's get the chip that's set aside. Is this it? Uh-oh. This is the right one? That's not the right one. What did I do with it? You're kidding me. Too many chips over here. Okay, that's it. Okay. Pin 1 is right there. Pin 1's on the chip, so we have it lined up correctly. Get in your home. This is going to be your new home forever and ever and ever. Right there. Okay. Here we go. Hopefully this pad does not shift. So we're going to check for shorts before we plug in anything after this. So, because the last thing we want is that pad to shift over and touch the via or touch the pad on the side. So I'm going to try to do the best I can to try to heat and hold it in place at the same time. The problem is that I want to hold it down. I don't want this to heat up and then start moving, but I want to hold the chip in place, but then I also don't. Let me fix that solder in the middle. It's like too high up. Let's do that. No, stop, Charlie. It's like Hershey kissing in the middle. Stop it. Pins 1 and 2 are bridged. Okay, so these are supposed to be bridged. These are supposed to be bridged. Nothing else is supposed to be bridged. So, okay. You can see the big track, though, by the way. So the big giant track here. That's how you know. This is the big giant track here. So the only thing we don't want touching is everything else. Okay, pin 1. Can't tell where pin 1 is. What happened to my pin 1? Can you tell? Oh. Cannot see it. Do I have it the right? Is this right? I can't see pin 1 on here. I can see the letters. I'm assuming it goes like that. I don't know. No, okay. Here, let me wipe it off. Stupid. I'm getting irritated. Okay, wiped it off. It's like really hard to see. I think it's this corner. There's a dot, I think I see. I think that's right. Yes, okay, we got enough yeses to make me feel confident. Okay, so we're gonna try this again. I don't know, I feel like the thing's gonna move on me. Come on, I'm paying attention to this, and I don't want it to shift at all. Oh! Oh! Give me a second. Give me a second. You gotta be kidding me. Good show, good show. Just joined. Well, you just saw me just get frustrated. Okay. All right. So what I think I need to do, let's have a cup of coffee. So what's happening here? So normal operation, I would just heat it, set the chip down and do it, okay? And just push it, send it, right? But the issue is, because I built that trace there, that trace is just sitting there. Nothing's holding it except for solder. And so right as I start heating that whole area, that little thing's going to start moving. So my idea is, in the back of my head, my idea is to put the chip there, kind of heat the whole area, just kind of mash it down. But that, I think we're going to have to put some solder mask on there, or something to keep that piece from moving, because otherwise I don't feel like we're going to be able to hold it in place. Just like... Oh my God. Heat the board from underneath? No, because I don't like heating, like you'll have to heat so much just to get the right temperature, I could turn down the air pressure maybe, that might work. But the UV curing mask is probably the safest thing to do. I don't have enough hands to hold it down while I'm doing it, because I'm holding a chip with one hand. I have the hot air station on the other hand, so I don't have another hand to hold that from moving. So yeah, let me, and the chip blew away, and I kind of grabbed a chip that I think it is, so hopefully this is the chip, whatever the chip is. So let me, let's clean that up. I'm going to put a little UV mask on there, and then I won't be throwing the solder station around anymore. My coffee's still hot though. It's good with my honey. Coffee and honey. So I'm not doing sugar this month, but I'm still putting honey in my coffee. I think that's okay, right? As for following my own rules are no intentional sugar, which means no candies or cookies or cakes or anything like that, no ice cream, but I can have honey. All right, so let me clean this off as much as I can. My friend is 3-year-old Alienware. One specific Windows 3D game, the system will slow down to 1 FPS. Huh. Now, is he using the internal, the GPU, the discrete GPU? That's weird. In the windowed mode, huh? 1 FPS. What would cause that? What do you think, guys? That's a weird one. Have you tried disabling the discrete graphics and only running off like the Intel integrated graphics and see if you're getting 1 frames per second? Because that's, I don't know. In windowed mode, though. All right, so we just need to make sure this doesn't blow away. So I'm going to add some UV curing junk over this whole thing, I guess. And then I'm going to kind of scrape away what we need. That's what I'm going to do. That's what's going to happen. Honey, coffee, and bourbon. Yeah, that's... I got 12 more days and I can have me some bourbon again. Which I have actually haven't missed alcohol. It's not a big deal. How do you disable the graphics? So if you go into the device manager, you're going to select display adapters inside the device manager, and then you can just choose whichever one you want to disable. You can only disable one at a time, or don't disable both. So if you have like NVIDIA graphics, then you're going to disable those, and then just try it with the Intel integrated graphics or whatever you have. I don't know which Alienware you have. Or if you have, or do vice versa, vicer. Just try that out. All right, so I got some UV curing mask stuff. And I'm just going to kind of flood that whole area, and then we'll wipe it off, cure it. And then I'll feel a little bit less intimidated about heating the area because it won't just blow away. Where's my crappy tweezers? So if you're ever going to apply this stuff, just have some crappy tweezers. I have some old Hackos that are all hackoed. They've been hackoed, man. And so I just put a little blob on the end here, and I'm just going to tap it in here. Now again, I don't want this to be too high up because we're going to end up having it stand up too high. It's a lot. It's a lot, but all right, so I'm going to try to wipe off some of that. All right, that's how I think I want it. All right, so now I'm going to put a curing light on it for a couple minutes. Use alcohol all the time. And IPA with your coffee. You're so hilarious. You're so funny, man. You're so funny. Oh, not making a joke. I'm serious. Dave, you're crazy. The power to the GPU, probably. You're going to... yes, 50% is too much. Perhaps a toothpick or a needle. Yeah, that's probably a better idea. And then you can just throw it away instead of having some old Hackos. Still buffering. I'm not buffering. I look great. There's no issues over here. What usually causes the orange light of death? Orange light of death is caused by 3 things. They're all related to the one thing, but they're all going to be something that's related to the machine not being able to start up, and it's usually because shorted chipset, right? So I've had an actual shorted chipset or a capacitor on the chipset shorted. You can have a shorted EC chip, okay? Or you can have a BIOS that is either corrupted, or we've even had data lines, you know, the data line resistors ripped off the board. We've had a bad BIOS or whatever. So the three things: the BIOS, EC, and chipset. Why don't you ever get Dell Precisions? I do get Dell Precisions, and most of the time I don't need to do board repairs on them, if that makes sense. So either the motherboard's cheap enough to replace, so it's less than my $250 because all that stuff's modular, like the CPU and GPU and all that stuff kind of comes unplugged, or they just don't break enough, or that's not the issue is not a board issue. So, but they do come in. I mean, I probably get, I don't know, 10 a week or something. I get plenty of Inspirons too. I get plenty of everything. Not very many Vostros or any of that type of stuff. But sugar detox is like coming off of cocaine, probably. It hasn't been too bad for me, but I'm exercising every day too. So exercising, so no sugar, no coffee, and then exercising every day for a month just to do it for fun as an experiment. And it's been pretty good. Been pretty good. Transplant some foil over it, then cure it. Is that to hold it down or something? I think we're good. I have that, transparent foil. Yeah, so I have that and then hold it down, but because there was so much junk in that area, it was gonna be hard to actually make it flat like you're, talking about. But the reason I just blotted it is because really what I wanted is to just have that stuff like under and around it. Now we're going to be able to just scratch off all this extra stuff here. We don't need any of that. Don't need that stuff there. This feels pretty secure. Scratch that away. And most of this is solder, this whole thing here. Yeah, I'm happy with that now. Okay, that's a movie bin. Okay. So let me just reflow these with soldering iron, just in case. It feels like I have a lot of solder on that one pin, though, at least, so I need to fix that. Hello from Egypt. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Much better. It feels much better. Okay. This middle still feels like I have so much solder in there. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's sturdy now, so I'm not worried about it blowing away. All right, so the next question is this the right chip? I just kind of grabbed it, hoping it was the right one. My laptop battery shows 0% and won't charge. Reads 17 volts sometimes, and it works for 5 to 6 minutes, then drops down to 0. The battery's probably bad. So 17 volts, unless it's a short on the battery charge circuit. Is it a nominal voltage battery of 17 volts? Is it a 4-cell battery? So if it's a 4-cell battery, then you're going to have 17 volts is going to be your battery voltage. Now, if you have it where it can charge up and then drop back down, you probably have a dead cell in the battery and it needs to be replaced. I don't know what model laptop you have, but that's just general knowledge there. And we're back to, where's my pin one? So I think our pin one's in this corner here, so I'm going to rotate. There it is, that little dot. So I'm going to rotate like that. Okay. All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to get this one over with. I'm pretty sure the ingredients for the solder mask is made by Smurfs. Or is Smurfs. Does anyone remember Smurfs? Actually, as a kid, I loved Smurfs. That was like one of my favorite cartoons. I remember I had like Smurf stuffed animals and Smurf everything. Smurfette was hot. God darn it. Thing blew away again. I'm like trying to be so gentle setting it down because I don't want to just mash it, but it's starting to get on my last nerve. It's kind of hard to send it whenever it just sends itself. And now this one pad over here doesn't look like it has very much solder on it. All right, we're going to try this one last time. I'm just going to mash it down. It should be good. Move away. It's tacked. Now we're going to add our flux. God, this stuff comes out like a goblin. This keeps dumping out of here. Goblin, I don't know what that meant, but it just keeps dumping out of there. Okay, so we have it in the right spot. I'm going to hold this down, see if I can squeeze out any extras. All right, it looks pretty good. Pretty good. We can clean up a little bit on this edge here. Reduce airspeed. Yeah, that would be a smart thing to do. You guys are so smart. Yeah, I should have done that a second ago, but I usually don't have this issue though. Okay. Clean that up. This doesn't really matter. Those are supposed to be touching together anyway. All the rest of the pins look good. I don't really know if I want to touch that one. I can try to make it a little cleaner. So at least get rid of these spikes on the top here. There we go. Okay. All right, let me clean it up. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see if Bob's your uncle, man. See if old Bobby's your uncle. Oh, Smurfs and the Littles. That's right, the Littles. I remember that. The Littles. Gosh, what were they? The Littles. Were they mice? What were they? Remember the Gummy Bears? We used to have a Gummy Bears cartoon. I'm trying to think of all those obscure cartoons. Saturday morning was the day, man. And now they don't even do that anymore, I don't think. There's no Saturday morning cartoon anymore. Raw Dogger in action, man. All right, so we're going to measure some pins before we make an explosion on the board. So. All right, let's make sure that we have all the pins are good. What does the chip do? Well, we looked it up. We think it's 19 volts here, and then it produces a 1.8 and a 3 volt and things like that. So it's going to be part of the CPU and GPU power chips of some sort. All right, so here's our main power rail. We don't have a short there. I just want to check to make sure we don't have a short across these two or these two. And so this one's saying 0. And then I'm just going to check the rest of these pins just in case. Good. Now these, I think it was this pin or this pin, these went to the middle via, so those aren't shorted. And then we'll just check across here too and here. So we're not, this isn't making any contact with anything around there. I think we're good. Now if you look at it, ugly, but it's very tiny, right? Very tiny. No one's going to notice that tiny little thing. So, I mean, this area right here that we would have to try to clean up to make it look prettier is like the size of the letter D here. So, all right. So let's see if it powers on. Clean up my area. Look at the mess that happens. It's like, grab all the tools all at once and just start pulling it in here, man. So I'm going to put this stuff away. Always wipe off your solder mask or else it gets everywhere. Throw away this one so it doesn't get to me. Beanie Babies. Was Beanie Babies actually a cartoon? Where'd this guy go? I think he goes right here. Okay. Look how dirty this is now. It's just so dirty, man. You're filthy. You're a filthy animal. Okay. Greetings from Brooklyn, New York. In general, Nathan. Thank you for my donation for my sanity fund. I do need it. My bourbon fund next month. Okay, let's plug it in and see if it powers on. Let me just grab a DC jack and then we can just do it on the desk. Ding. A ding, a ding, ding. Will it work? Thank you. That's a good one. That's a good question. So we do have a poll running. You guys can join in on that poll. If you're on Twitch, it's at the top. And I guess I could just do a full reassembly, but I was just going to plug this in and see if it starts powering on. If I can find the right DC jack for it. Maybe I should just install it back in their thing. All right, we're just going to install it back in their computer. I'm sure it's fixed. Fingers crossed working today. All right, so should we just keep this thermal paste on here? In general, if I'm just testing, I won't re-thermal paste it, which probably I should. Yeah, let me just not re-thermal paste it. I'm just going to add a dab on top, and I will deal with this later. Because otherwise I have to clean it all off again and start over. Because there's a chance it may not work. Got 18 votes. Yeah, so Twitch, if you're on Twitch, just click at the top there to get your voting menu to come up. Everyone's vote counts. Oh shoot, we did break 1,000 viewers today. Welcome. If this is your first stream, I do this twice a week. Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central and Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Central. So I'm fixing laptop motherboards live, usually Alienwares or Dell XPSs, things like that. But I don't look at these things ahead of time, and we just try to figure it out as we go, and you get to see the failures or the successes, and that's part of the fun. I'm not trying to make a big, nice, polished video that makes me look good. I don't really care about any of that stuff. We're just talking about, we're raw dogging it. Raw dogging for the win. All right, we need RAM, DDR5. We need a stick of gold here. One stick of gold goes there, and the other stick of gold, let me install that all the way, goes right there. Two sticks of gold. Oh wait, let me pull up the poll so you can see it. Pull up the poll. There you go. So we got, most people are actually saying that I succeeded, but then we have some sourpusses over there at the YouTube. But we only have 200 votes with 1,000 people in the chat. So if you are on YouTube or Twitch, go ahead and hit your vote button now while I'm reassembling this. And if you're so inclined, you can like the video too. So that way more people will see. It will get pushed out to more people. Maybe we can get this viewership up to 2,000 people. What meter do I use for repairs? So I'm using this multimeter, which is, I have a couple of these. This is the higher end one, but what I like about this one is it connects to the computer, so it puts a little meter up on there, and then I use my own power meter box off to the side here that I made that just is basically a power board that, or a power display that passes through the Dell charger, so I can see how much current's going through there. Now, I didn't plug in the power board here, just to let you know, I forgot. I didn't put the daughter board on there, so the power button's not plugged in, but there is a power button on the board I can just press with my finger, so that's what we're going to have to do. Land of the Lost, that was I remember that one too. I see Salem Textbooks is no longer selling refurbished laptop, no SSDs. Yeah, I messaged him, I let him know. I have plenty of DDR4 memory, I don't have much DDR5, but I'll see if I can set him up with something. I'm still selling refurbished laptops just fine, so my people aren't stealing all the stuff out of it whenever I buy them. So I don't know. I'm sure at some point. But the gist of it, if you didn't see the Salem Textbooks video this morning, he sells a lot of refurbished laptops, and now the laptops are no longer coming with RAM because the salvage companies he's been buying it from is now taking all the RAM out because that's worth more than the laptop itself. But it seems like they would sell the laptop for next to nothing then, but it's like they're double charging them twice. All right, plug in the power. We got 0.05, then it should rest at 0.02. It's not. So we're sitting at 50 milliamps, which is not correct. It's not correct. So if we open a lid, it may turn on. I don't think we have a read switch, so I don't think it's going to do that. Power button's not going to do anything because I did not hook up the power button because stupid. But there is a power button on the board, so I'm going to press that power button somewhere around here. Press the power button. And we do have it going up to 0.31, 0.22, and the machine's not coming on. So we do have an issue still. There is a chance that that chip When it blew out, it actually shorted and sent something to the CPU itself because it's the 1.8 power rail. So 0.31 is very bad. Let's just go ahead and put that daughter board back in so we can see what error code it is. I'm assuming, because we don't have an error code. So for all you guys that voted that this was going to successfully work, you were wrong. And the people who, looks like 10% and 20% said that I was not going to be able to fix this, and you guys were correct. So, but it doesn't mean I can't fix it. Let's figure this out. Here, let me plug it back in. Let's see what's getting hot under the thermal camera, actually. Al, thanks for the Prime sub. Thermal camera. So we got the, what is that? Chipset. No, what is that? What is this chip? Whatever this is pulling to 0.05 constantly, and it's hot. So we have something here doing something. Because this thing, remember, should be sitting at 0.02. It's sitting at 0.05, so that's wrong anyway. And when we try powering it on, I'm going to take the RAM back out because it's right next to the RAM that's heating up. Yeah, see, this is getting hot right here. So we may have another bad chip here. But again, a lot of times what happens when you have hot chips like this is that the chip is trying to produce a power rail, but it's trying to power a power rail that is shorted, right? So it's not necessarily a chip that's bad. So we didn't really, you know what's kind of stupid of us? Do you realize we could be a little bit stupid? Just think about it with me. So we had the chip explode, and based on what I just said, you have a chip trying to power something that's shorted, and it gets hot. Well, that chip blew up, but why did it blow up? Did it blow up because it was trying to power a shorted power rail? And then we just put the chip back on there, and it's still, there's power. We didn't check the outputs, is all I'm saying. The inputs weren't shorted, but we didn't check the outputs. We didn't check to see if there was anything else shorted on there. So I'm going to pull the board back out. We're going to just kind of look back around. We never determined why the chip blew exactly. And so we never checked to see if, yeah, where the output was going or how much, what the resistant was on the output. So let's pull it back out. But this is all part of it, right? This is how you do a real repair, is you're doing trial and error. You're replacing different things. You're trying different things. And you never know. Intra Server is our new Prime member. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to hook this board back on here while I'm thinking about it so I don't forget, because I want to be able to have the power button show up. I need to be able to see the power button, please. Okay. As stupid is, as stupid does. It's such a great movie, guys. Such a great movie. I didn't ask before why we had this short on the output. Yeah, because I just never checked the output. We band-aided a hole. All right, let me take this back off. So that's why we don't re-thermal paste everything too. No video or explosion. Doe, I hate with the Prime. You hate it. Measure the 1.8 chip. Okay. Chicka chicka. See, if I would have re-thermal pasted this whole thing, this would have been the walk of shame, right? Where you have to take this back off and you're like, oh, I've already done all this thinking I fixed it. I didn't know for sure if I fixed it or not. The walk of shame. Okay, let's go back. I just want to measure the outputs just out of curiosity. All right, so here's our bugger. Why can't I focus it? Okay. Oh, do we know? I don't keep up with sports. So who's in the Super Bowl, or is it? Have we determined it yet? I'm like, go sports! But it's the NFL countdown. I know that everyone's looking forward to that stuff. Look at this. This is freaking ridiculous. You're freaking kidding me. Look at that, 0.25. Oh, gosh. Yay, sports ball. Go sports ball. 2 more weeks, right? Because I think it's like the starting of, or it's usually end of January, the starting of February. Just a halftime show. The commercials are what I usually go for. All right, so this is shorted, I believe, right? CPU is cooked, maybe. I don't know, but the CPU is way over here. So all this stuff's, all these are in a line, right? So I thought it was, these were like 3 and 5 volts right here. I don't know what that one was, and I guess that's a 1.8. I don't know. But this is point. I mean, we could have a shorted capacitor on this power rail, and then this thing was trying to send the voltage through here and freaking exploded, right? Because we have 19 volts going through here. And so, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, let's just inject voltage here. Let's inject the old voltage here. This one we can actually do because we have a short. And you know what's funny is that if we actually, well, I swear we measured this earlier. Wait a minute. Is there a way of looking back in the video? But you remember we measured all this stuff, measured. Maybe we didn't measure this one because it was under the foil. So maybe we never measured that one and we never saw that it was shorted. Huh. I don't know. You think about it. I'm sure somebody will go back and rewind and be like, yeah, you measured it. It's shorted now when it wasn't before. Something like that. Okay, so we'll start out. What the resistance was like, what, point something, almost 0. So we'll start at like 0.04. All right. What is that? What is that? Some bits. Thank you for the cheer. I'm not cheerful yet. All right, so we're going to inject some voltage here. You want to hear the most annoying noise ever? Right here? What's that? What's that? Right there. Okay. So over here somewhere, it's one of these. Is one of these capacitors shorted? Or is it that chip? So we will find out. Oh, man. Oh, it's a hype train. We got a hype train going. All right, guys, get going. Do your hyping. All right, so this is 0.16. And this is 0.16. So we have almost a 0 short here. Does anyone have a guess? Anyone want to put in their guesses? So is it going to be this chip? Because this probably has a ground on it. I believe it does. This is ground. Yes, there's ground here. So this chip could definitely have ground on it, and it could be shorted. Or one of these 4 capacitors or 6 capacitors could be shorted. All right. You can just say it in the chat, whatever you think. We're going to inject some more voltage again and make it pop. We're going to make it explode. So I'm going to put some alcohol here. Does everyone have their guesses in? Listos. Okay. I'm going to go up on our voltage. It's the chip itself. You see the chip itself? The reason why this chip can be shorted is because we do have, this is probably ground right through here, and this is probably positive, or the other way around, but whatever the case is, this thing has both positive and negative voltage in here. Sometimes you'll have it where there's no ground on a chip, and so it's kind of hard for it to be shorted. Like a lot of MOSFETs don't necessarily hook to ground most of the time, but they can still be shorted as like a wire, as a pass-through, but this one's actually shorting to ground because we're having a pass-through Probably in this area. I bet it's this part of the chip that's bad. So I'll do it one more time just so you can see the visualization there. So we put alcohol on it. We just injected in that one area we found that was shorted. And see how it's just drying up in that area. And if it was one of these capacitors, those would be the ones drying up. So we're going to replace this guy. What is he? I'm sure somebody smart out there will tell me, because I don't know. I would not count myself as smart when it comes to that stuff. So I'm just going to replace this guy. Chip normally passes voltage until it's on, but it's, I think it's a switch of some sort, right? So we probably have 4 switches. I bet it's like 4 different circuits in here. So it might be a transistor or something, a 4-way transistor. And UG, UG6, UG7, I don't know what UG stands for either. Luckily I have plenty of these chips in stock, whatever it is. We can replace it with a brand new, whatever this chip is. Come on. At least I don't need to fix the pads, correct. I'm not a fan of that. Wait a minute, who are you? Are you being serious, buddy? All right, there we go. And the chip is off. Let's check for a short. The short should be gone, of course. The short is not gone. Are you kidding me? That's why I checked. Maybe it's waiting for a capacitor to fill up. Maybe there's something hot. Let's let this cool off for a second. That's crazy if the short's not gone. Here, I'm going to cool it off. Let's cray. All right, so I thought this is measuring 0, 0, which usually means that we have, because usually it'd be like, if I put my probes together, it's like 0.1 usually. But if I'm measuring and it's getting 0, 0, it usually means it's a capacitor trying to fill up. But that's weird. So I'm thinking this is the positive, this is the negative, the ground. Although that's measuring 0.6. How's that possible? So if it's 0.6, maybe that's going to the, I don't know, this is messing with my brain. Let's measure a donor board. It's messing with my brain, man. So here's our brand new chip. It's absolutely flawless. If we measure here, we got 0.15. We measure here, we got nothing. So this is going to be our positive portion of the voltage. So this is where we should be getting 0, or open line, or whatever it is on our measurement. But we are getting MOS for that. 0.8. Rabbit hole. This is the freaking rabbit hole. So what we're doing right now is we're about to chase about 1,000 chips and keep injecting, and then find another one and inject, and then find another one and inject. So get prepared. So we got 1 amp going in. All right, here we go. The board's still hot, so we're going to have to cool this darn thing off. Where's a cooler? Let me use this. ASMR rabbit hole, okay. It feels good. Feels good, yeah. What time is it? It's only been 2 hours and 13 minutes, and we still haven't fixed one computer. Not an easy pizza. Or a burrito. Okay, we'll see if that's cool enough for us to see just the subtlest. Let's see, let me start here. Okay. Oh, is it that guy still? Way over here? Maybe he's the issue. So is that diffuse enough to be on the other side of the board, you think? I think it is. Yeah, and there's nothing right here. So I'm going to flip it over. And so that's another one of these things. That's another one of those exact same chips. So do you think we have multiples of these that were damaged? Yes. Do you think it kind of just sent like a crazy surge through and just blew all these out? Yeah, the 19 volt went to the 1.8. So we got to fix everything that... And hopefully these were protecting it, right? So all these are what blew up and just shorted the ground. All right, so I will put some alcohol. I don't know which one it is, if it's this one or that one. And we will do some injection. It's not. Okay, so this one gets hot right there. Let's see about this guy. Okay, so I think it's this guy. I think it's that one. Right there in the middle. Why is he doing that? Why are you doing that, buddy? Possible domino effect. That's right. And we ain't talking about the pizza. All right, so let me get this one taken off too. Let's see if it resolved the short. Why is it so dark all of a sudden? It's because I'm trying to get rid of the reflections. Rabbit hole. I didn't wear my rabbit hole shirt today. I almost wore my rabbit hole shirt today. Yeah, so this laptop was basically brand new, so I don't really understand how all this would have happened. What do you think about it? Because if one of these seem like they're protecting something, I almost feel like once we get through this, we're going to have still a capacitor shorted somewhere. What do you think? I almost feel like it's a capacitor went, and then that's what caused all this damage. Oh no, I bumped some stuff off. Did I go there? Did I have something here too, or is it just there? I can't tell. Is there any way to rewind the tape to look? I don't think I had anything there. I can look at this one. Yeah, the donor board has it like that too. Okay. All right, so is the short gone? Let's see if the short is gone now. We get rid of reflections. Okay, our short is gone there. Good. Let's go back over to the other side. Which was there. And that short is gone. Nice. That's two shorts are gone. All right, so now I want to check the outputs of this one and make sure we don't have a short in this area on one of the outputs, right? So I think these are the outputs. So this was that pad. This is ground right here in the middle. I think it's a ground. That's fine. And let's just check this one just for good measure. All right. I think we got it. What do you think? Test the third. It might be shorted. Well, the third one doesn't seem shorted yet, so I don't know if there's a way for me to make it seem more shorted, but it's definitely, that's ground, that's ground. Like everything is measuring fine over here on this one. I don't know if we have more of these on the board. All right, let's go back to, let me take a quick break. Drink some more coffee. All right, I got a question. If this is your first time on my stream, say hello. I just want to see how many people are first-time streamers here. Because, you know, we have over 1,000 people here. I know we've done that plenty of times before, but I just don't know how many people are reoccurring or if I'm actually getting new people here. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, welcome people. So we do these streams twice a week. This is quite a lot of people. So yeah, we do the stream twice a week. We do it Wednesdays evenings at 6 p.m. Central, and then Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Central time. And I'm just fixing laptops just live. You know, don't know what we're doing. I don't look at them ahead of time. I have no idea. So yeah, subscribe to the channel if you'd like, and make sure to hit the thumbs up on the live stream so it pushes it out to more people, so more people have awareness of this. But I am super happy to see that many newcomers here. That's awesome. And you don't need to be in the electronics. This is all more of like a problem solving and like detective work, more or less, right? So we're just trying to figure out exactly what's a cause and effect that's happening, and we just kind of figure it out as we go along. And obviously we don't fix it right off the bat, but usually we do end up fixing a couple of laptops on the way. All right, I had my coffee. So we're going to replace these 2 chips, and then hopefully we'll be good. Your 4th live, awesome. That's great. Yeah, 35 to 40 new people. That's awesome to have that many new people. And we have a new tier 1 sub, CMD, the old command prompt. Thank you. All right, so we're just going to replace those, and then hopefully this thing will start powering on. What do you think? So I'll start with this one that's on this back side that we did last. I think this will probably be the end of it. But again, 1.8, I thought I pressed the button. Again, 1.8, sending it 19 volts to 1.8 is never good. So we're hoping that this fixes it. Waiting for some raw dogging. Well, we are raw dogging in a way, in a sense, right? We're just sitting here pulling chips off, trying to get things working. 50% of the people have liked. All right, so we're halfway there for our likes. So I'm trying to get to 800 likes on this video before the end of it. So while I'm taking this chip off, this is going to be my donor chip here. While I'm taking this off, go ahead and hit that like button on there. And you can't really do that on Twitch, obviously, but you can at least hit the follow button or something on Twitch. See if we can hit 1,500 followers on Twitch, though. We're only at 1,493, so we only need 7 more people to follow on Twitch. All right, come on, Chippy. There we go, coming. Okay, we got that one off. And I guess I could probably just take that one, right? It's the same one. But I'm gonna do the right thing and take the chip from over here. Yeah, it is the same chip, but. Yeah, it's the same thing. Who uses flux? Yeah, I can add flux sometimes if I want. Usually I will add it to take it off, but I was trying to just raw dog it. You guys wanted raw dog, and I'm going raw dog right now. There you go. Who needs flux? Well, we don't need flux. Now, I'll definitely put flux when I'm putting it on. Just like so. Font's a little different on this one. So we got pin 1 dot there, we got pin 1 dot here, so we know the orientation. We don't have to worry about... Oh, and I blew my chip away again. The link for Twitch, just go to Twitch, type in Parts People. I don't have a link, but it's at Parts People. It's right there at the top of the screen there, above my face. I have the YouTube and the Twitch up there at the top. Yeah, we'll see how many people we can get follows on Twitch this time. We're at 1497, so we have 3 more to go to hit 1,500 on Twitch. You're kidding me. I've never had this much problems with chips flying away. I don't know if my air pressure feels harder, but I always am at 60%. Maybe it's because I have no flux. You might be right. Flux is considered, it's rosin with 99% alcohol mixed in. Is that really? Rosin. Okay, I'm just going to tack that in place. Good. Good. All right, add some of this mechanic flux. We've got some new follows coming in hot. Yeah, we're at 1504 now. We did break that 1500 mark on Twitch, so thank you for that. What are we up to on the likes on the YouTube stream? We might need to refresh the page. At 572. Come on, that's a disgrace. We need 800. But if you're on a TV, it's kind of hard to do it. I know that. I know that's the excuse for a lot of people. They're watching on a TV. Yeah, everyone, thank you so much for supporting the channel. And that's what brings me back every week. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a reason to come back. You know, I'm trying to use this knife tip, and I just don't, I can never, it just doesn't work for me that well. I don't know what it is. What am I doing wrong? Because I usually use like the hook tip. I was just trying to pick up the rest of that solder there, sort of. First time stream, long time subscriber. Okay, well that's what I'm trying to get, is trying to convert some of these viewers into the stream people. And so when I fix these people's laptops on here, so what's this customer's name? I can't remember. I'm going to tell him, hey, I fixed this live on the stream. You can go and watch it, and then they'll go and watch it. And sometimes that converts them into a stream watcher or not. Sometimes this is just too slow pace for them. So I know some people say that even my videos they have to watch in fast speed, but I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty fast in my videos. Not like my shorts. New day, new laptop to repair. And what do we have here? Why, it's a giant laptop that needs to be fixed. And, well, my fake announcer voice for my YouTube shorts. Which I have a YouTube short I'm working on for that video I posted yesterday, and I haven't finished it because it's a pain in the butt. Shorts take so much longer to produce to actually make them, you know, perform well. So if I do right, pretty good, I can get like 500,000 views on a short. But if I do it where it's just kind of like, I'm just going to post the short, it's like 20,000 views and it dies, and that's it. It doesn't do anything. All right, so those are replaced. Did I put that on right? I didn't even pay attention. Yes. I was on autopilot on that. That pin 1 and pin 1 didn't even have to think about it. It just happened. Love the radio announcer voice. Yes. Magic 95 on your FM dial. Thanks for tuning in. Casey Kasem in the top 40 countdown. I either sound like a radio announcer or great videos. Thanks. Hey, thanks, Stu. Or I sound like somebody at like a strip club announcer or something, you know. Candy's at stage number 3. Followed by vanilla. Okay. Did we fix it? I don't know. Like a surgeon. Ooh. Okay. See, I always make a mess. Everything's a mess. Did I? Oh, you know what's funny is I could have put the wrong chips back on there. Oh gosh, I hope I didn't. Because I just found the chip right here. So I didn't do my normal protocols. When I take a chip off, I put it way over here. That's bad. This is my bad side, my good side. And then this is stuff I'm working on is over here. I just found the chip I took off that was a bad one over here. So we're going to check for shorts. You gotta follow routines, man. Although I guess we can check by the font, because the font was a little different, right? So that's a Big Daddy font. Do we have Big Daddy font over here? Big Daddy font, and then small Mama font. So we'll just measure for a short, though. No short. The cheat for shorts. Hold on. Can't see this. That's the guy. Okay, now we have a short over here. We didn't have a short here before. So let's work on this guy. Let's reseat him, make sure he's seated down properly. But we are measuring a 0 ohm short. To me, it almost seems like we have a short to ground underneath that thing. So let me just reflow that. That's why we test it, right? Remove the goggles. Remove the goggles. These are the best set of goggles that have ever been made. And you must remove them. And just for that, we're going to use the NF white flux. Let's do it. Look how white it is. Look how white that flux is. NF dot white. Let's see if that makes this flow better. And then it goes clear. So I'm just going to reflow this because we did have a short. So it may just be something underneath it. It could be a bad chip. I don't know. We didn't test our chips before we took it. Chasing shorts are always fun. Doo-dah. I don't know about that. So now we're up to 1,100 likes. So I think the likes are actually working. The more people will press the likes button on the video, then you're coming in here. So if you're just joining, we are working on a motherboard that had a shorted power rail, 19 volt to the 1.8, and then now we've had to replace 3 chips and rebuild the trace, and it's still not working. But we will get it working soon enough. Come on, we need to get this thing to loosen up. Why aren't you loosening up? There it goes. See if I have any extra solder under there. Add some flux under there. No, there's nothing under there. It's not squeezing out. We're up to 617. Is that with a refresh? 617. We got double that in here. All right, so is it fixed now is the question? So we have a vote up there. If you guys want to vote on that, you're welcome to do that. Let me check for short. I might have to change this chip out again. We still have a short here. Come on. It's at 0 though. So we don't have a short there. There's a short here. All right, let me take that guy back off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We have to do it. We have to do it. Correction, 633. So we're at 633. The official lounge, 279. Thank you. Thanks for that $2 donation. So I'm just going to pull this off and put it off to the side. This may be the one that was on the other side of the board. That was shorted in that corner. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to put it over here. Let me just grab another one off this board. All right, let me make sure the short's gone, though. Wait a minute. No! No! Is there another one of these somewhere? So we still have a short over here on this side now. We didn't even... I thought we checked that. What are you talking about? I don't remember that. That wasn't there before. We didn't turn this thing on, bro. So it's not like we caused more issues. We just changed the chip out. Let me cool this off. Am I going crazy? I swear we tested that. The CPU is gone. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't want it to be gone because this is what I hate is working 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours on something and then the CPU's dead or something, you know? Okay, let's inject some voltage again. We're have to cool the board off again though. Let me do that while we're chatting. Okay, y'all vote. You already voted. No, it's not going to work. Oh, so funny. No. Is it going to work? No. Where'd my blower go? Check the donor board. Ah, this person has some bronze. Someone has bronze over there. Check the donor board. So here's what our issue is. We originally had that blown up chip here, right? We fixed that blown up chip. This is on our donor board, so we stole this chip, but this chip was blown up. And then we found a short on this output here that was coming over here, and it was shorting out this area through this chip. And then we changed out this chip, but then we found this was still shorted, and we found another chip shorted, but now we're finding a short on this area on our real board. This is our donor board, so I want to see if we have a short here. So we don't have a short on this area, don't have a short on this area. So we're not supposed to have low values on either one of these areas. What is this attaching to? Looks to me like it goes into the freaking VRAM. But maybe it doesn't. No, there's some isolation there. Freaking fracker. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna send this right to the garbage, man. Let's cool this off. No short on the donor board confirmed. So let me cool this back off so we can actually see something heat up, because we're gonna have to inject some more voltage. Northwest Repair is here. Welcome. What's up, man? Tony. Tony. Tony, we have a fun one going on. The rabbit hole. My favorite. So let me cool all this back off and take the RAM back out of here. Okay. Time for some more injection. Actually, I'll stay high like that. We're gonna go back to, we're gonna put, so how many ohms was it? Almost 0, so we can inject very low. Every day, buddy. Rabbit holes, boot loops. Yeah, it's joy when it boots. So, and this one was a, the customer said it had a bad CPU, and then giving a 2-1 error, and then it never even powered on, and we found a short on the 19-volt power rail that was a 19 ohm short. Try to find that somewhere, right? 19 ohms. And then we found it. It ended up being a blown up chip. Changed that out, and then now we're having to chase all these other ones, so we'll see. It was tied to the 1.8. All right, so what are we doing here? So that's fine, so it's gonna be this one. Look for it. Don't see anything so far. Let's try this side. That's a capacitor. Is it the capacitor? No, that's just me holding the capacitor itself. Okay. I don't see anything diffuse anywhere. Where is it at? All right, I'm going to send it higher. So we're only at 0.5 volt, so I'm going to go higher. We're going to go up to 0.7. Right there. Right there. So this is the GPU. Right here on the edge of this, I'm seeing something. So is that under the GPU? I'm going to flip it over because it's maybe just on the back side of the GPU there, but I'm not happy. So let's see if we can find something over here. I mean, the thing is that resistance is so close to 0, it could be anything over here. And I don't have a good rail. Maybe I can inject on one of these rails. Let me see. So that's 0.1. That's 0.1. So I mean, I guess I could do it on one of these guys, right? 0.1. Oh, well, you can't see what I'm looking at, but so there's a couple tantalum capacitors here on the backside of the GPU that are measuring the same on both sides. pretty much. Removed, I mean, I guess so. Let me take down this pole here. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to inject right there on that tantalum capacitor, and we will see if it's right on the back there or if it's in the GPU itself. Yeah, it's the GPU. Because it was on the 1.8. So you can see this whole area getting hot right there. So that's 14 amps. So, all right, does everyone concur with that? Tony? Yeah, so I think the whole side here is getting hot, and then if I looked, we kept seeing kind of the edge of the core getting hot, right under there. It was a short 19 volts on the 1.8, and it was right here. The question is there a way to disable the GPU in a way? I mean, I guess you can just pull the GPU off of there to make it where the board will run without the GPU, because at this point that 1.8 is shorted down low, or it's being pulled low by the GPU. Or maybe if I just kept this chip off over here, because this chip right here is what's tied over here, so maybe I could just take that off. Maybe the board will power on the way it is. I mean, I put that other chip on, so let's just try that. Let me just get a DC jack here. What do you think about that? Let's keep the GPU off and just use the integrated, if I can keep it off. Because I think all the rest of the 1.8s are fine. Yeah, it has integrated graphics on these. There's a Radeon graphics of some sort. It's a Ryzen 9. This one definitely does have graphics. I know for a fact. All right, we will plug it in. I'm going to do this under the thermal camera, though. All right, there's your power meter. All right, so 0.02 is what we wanted before, and we were getting 0.05. So we know that we resolved that other short that we were dealing with, so now I can just press the power button that's on this motherboard right here. And the CPU is coming on, all the power stages are coming on. I think we might be good. See the chipset? Yeah, I think we're good. Let's see if we can get this thing to get a picture. They're just not going to have the discrete graphics. That's fine with me. Beggars can't be choosers. And they can buy a new board if they want, but this board, the Ryzen 9 with this chip, I had this board in stock, $849. Because you remember, you're buying a motherboard, a GPU, a 3070 or whatever it is, and then Ryzen 9, all in one package. $849. And I have a hard time keeping them in stock, which is annoying. Yeah, holy crap. I mean, you can't really buy another one of these machines for less than that. You might be able to get them for $1,100 or somewhere around there. So it's not, I mean, usually you don't want to pay more than half the price of the machine to fix it. It's kind of my idea. Yeah, $800 to $900. And so like so say they said, okay, actually I want a motherboard, so I would charge $129 for my labor. And right now I'm charging $249 to fix this machine, but if they just don't want to do the board repair, then it would just be $129 for the labor, and then plus the price of the part. And so they would pay $129 plus $849, and then I'd pay for return shipping myself. I give you your warranty and all that stuff. But why was it covered under warranty? Is it less than a year old? It's not less than a year old. This thing is like, it's a 2022 or something. It just looks like it's new. So it's like they bought it and then they didn't use it very much. I have no idea why this would have exploded, though. Doesn't make sense to me. They can't afford a $4,000 laptop. That's a reference to yesterday's video, by the way. A 2-month-old laptop where the person opened it up and fucking destroyed it, dude. Oh, they're ridiculous. Apparently this person doesn't want any internet, right? Breaking the NIC card and the Wi-Fi antennas. They're like destined to not have internet. Who needs internet? I want to use a Wi-Fi dongle for the rest of my life. All right, that's plugged in. Can't fix stupid. Stupid is, stupid does, right? That's what you said. M17R7, still worth it. I don't know. I don't like these boards. So to me, I always tell them, I give them a caveat. I said, look, board's 850 bucks. I don't like the motherboard. I don't trust it at all. And so I don't even like warranting it because like the motherboards I get from Dell, I don't get your warranties on them, but I have to warranty it for you. I don't have to. I mean, I choose to do that, but so I give a year warranty, and I don't even know if I trust a year warranty on it. I mean, I haven't had any fail, but it's still just that whole thing where I fixed so many of these. So this machine is the one that's plagued with the most problems. The M17R5 and the M15R7, same motherboard, identical motherboard. The Ryzen edition, though. AMD edition. That model is selling and used for 1,100 bucks. Yeah, so right around 1,100 bucks is what you can get it for, is what I've seen. I just priced it 2 days ago for somebody because they needed to get it replaced, the motherboard replaced also. And I was just telling him, like, and he's going to think about it, but so he may end up getting the motherboard anyway because I have the machine working, but the GPU is not working on it. But all right, here we go. 0.02 is what we want. It's exactly what I want to see. And we have pre-charge current, so it's 0.2, so it's 200 milliamps. It should jump up to charging in a second. So right now it's like negotiating the pre-charge current for the battery, and then we should get up to about, I think 40 watts of charge or 50 watts of charge. 50 watts. So we're charging at 50 watts. Machine's not on yet, but we are charging the battery. So that's what we're waiting for that to kind of just do something for a second. The machine did not come on automatically when I opened the lid. Sometimes I look for that. I'm going to press the power button. Did I plug in the power button? I don't know if I plugged in the power button. Well, oh, it was not plugged in all the way. It was plugged in, but it was shoddily plugged in. All right, let's try it again. Shoddily, is that a word? eBay doesn't come with a good warranty. All right, I hear fans. I got keyboard backlight. I got an Alienware screen. This is way more than we had before. We had nothing before. So I would be 1,000% surprised if this thing gives us picture because we had that 1.8 volt surge. And so we could have blown out the CPU, especially since it gave it 2.1 error. But like I said, you could have a 2.1 error, which is pointing to a bad CPU if you have a short on the GPU's power rail. So we're going to wait here, see if we get our 2.1 error. If we do get a 2.1 error, then dishes are done, man. But this will take a second for our CMOS reset. I would never repaste a new computer as long as I have warranty, and that's probably right. One of my employee, my other tech here, he bought the new Aurora X Alienware 16, and the first thing he did is he put PTM 7950 on it when it got delivered. So, but he at least works on these laptops every day and knows what he's doing. So I guess you could caveat that with like, you want to do it if you, well, I mean, if it's in a warranty, yeah, you probably shouldn't mess with it at all because you don't want to void your warranty. Right? We're still cycling. Turn back off. We're at 72 watts. It's not. I think 50 watts of that is charging the battery, so it should be start at like 30 watts. I think to start up the laptop. As long as we have movement, we're good. And we have picture. I cannot believe I saved another laptop. All right, so we saved this laptop. That's actually, I'm pretty impressed by this actually. We're raining some bits. Gritty. I can always count on Gritty with some bits. All right, let's go in the BIOS. I just want to see what shows up here. And we don't have our graphics card. Now again, I left that 1.8 power regulator chip off the board, so it didn't short out to the 1.8. Thank you so much, Premise. Yeah, so that prevents the GPU from coming on, the integrated GPU, or I guess the discrete GPU, but it allows the machine to not have a power rail failure. Let's just boot in the diagnostics. The other issue I see with these is whenever I do fix it and it seems like it's working, it doesn't want to boot into a Windows operating system or a Linux operating system. So let me boot into a diagnostics real quick. I'm going to grab a test SSD. Let's boot into Windows. There is still a chance it will just boot loop into a endless like IRQ or some sort of like issue with, I don't know, blue screens of death basically. It's alive! It's alive! Anybody who wants to do a bell message, you're going to have to do a super chat because the bell messages are actually just set for the mods, but you're welcome to do a bell message by just sending a $1 super chat or something like that. All right, so we're going to do, where's my Alienware install? Uh-oh. I lost it. Well, that's no good. That's no bueno. So it must be left in someone's computer. So we're going to use Blanche, I guess. It's a Windows 10. Let me do, here's Mosbacher, which is Windows 11. Yeah, so I don't know where my other Alienware install is. What temp is it at? Yeah, I didn't read thermal paste, remember? So we just kind of shoved some stuff on there and shoved a heatsink on. And just shoved it. Looks like the video graphics is at 2C. Daryl, thank you. So we have 2 degrees C on the graphics card. That's a good temp. And then everything else looks good, right? So 58 was the high for the CPU. Battery's up to 4% charge, so it is charging us fine. So that's looking good. Raw dog in the heatsink. Yeah, so when I'm done, I re-thermal case. I make everything look pretty. Let me just put this SSD in here. I suspect that this may not boot the Windows though. So I know that we're all happy. Screen's coming on, so it's working. Oh, yeah, picture. Oh my gosh. But there's a chance that this won't work still. Remove the GPU power rails to fix it. Yeah, that's what I did do. Would element 31 be hard to remove in a 1-year-old of use? No, it's the same to remove at the day 1 or day 31 or 365 or whatever. It's not hard to remove. Well, it is hard to remove in general. It's just messy. It's not hard to remove. It's just messy and time consuming. This SSD is not configured for Alienwares. It's configured for my XPSs mainly. So this one will take a while to get configured, and I don't have the drivers installed and all this stuff. So I don't know where my Alienware install is. But 2 degrees is a lie. What a liar it is. Well, this is actually pretty good. So it should have blue screen by now if we were going to have an issue. So I think we... Did it reboot? We have picture. All right, so okay, so now I can say we fixed it. Now I can say we fixed it. And if I look here, we should only have 1 graphics card. Yeah, we only have the integrated Radeon graphics. We don't have the secondary NVIDIA graphics, but they're just going to have to live with it. And hopefully they'll be okay with that. So, all right, well, that one's in the books. Mark that one down. I still will offer them the other motherboard. Sometimes people are like, sure, I want the other motherboard. Unless you guys want me to do something crazy. No. I send this over to Northwest Repair. He'll put a new GPU on here, no problem. Knock it out. If you have a short on the 1.8, I'll just send you 2 boards. You'll put it on there, right? Right, Tony? Just transfer one over. Reball the GPU. It's not a reball issue though, because if you have the 1.8 surge there and it has a short in it, it's an actual bad GPU, so you're going to have to replace the GPU. So then you have to find a good GPU. So do it. I'm not doing it. But I can offer it to the customer. I can do whatever, you know. A lot of times they don't care. All right, let's go to the next machine, I guess, right? What time is it? It's been 3 hours. The next one is what? What machine is it? No power. Wait. No detect. What was it? What did I say it was? You guys are in charge. Tony isn't Alex. Tony is from Northwest Repair. So if you ever see those witty GPU repair videos where he's fixing GPUs and reballing them and doing all this stuff, but he's very sarcastic and has a lot of memes in there and stuff. That's Tony. And then Alex is going to be the guy from Northwest. Wait, no, from Northridge Fix. Northridge Fix doesn't do GPU repair. He just kind of does burn and turn type of repair where he'll work on it for about 15-20 minutes and then move on to the next repair. So Northwest Repair actually does repair. Northridge Fix does short detection and then kind of changes stuff out really fast if he can. He doesn't spend more than 30 minutes on a machine, I think. If I'm mistaken, I don't know. I mean, maybe he spends an hour on something, but I get stuck spending 5 hours sometimes because I want to figure it out. Oh, okay. Did we break 725 on our thumbs up? What model is the power rail failure? Oh, right. Let me go find that. Okay, I have 2 power rail failures actually. So we can do this one though. Let's see what this one is. An XPS 9530 with 3 amber, 5 white. That should be a power rail failure on an XPS. So XPS 9530. But I also have an Alienware X17R2 with a power rail failure also. So I don't know if you want that one instead. But this one, I can tell you what it's probably going to be. And you know what's funny is we just did that. So I've dealt with so many of these now. These things are coming in like crazy. These XPS 9530s with the same issue. And the issue is, it's usually, actually, it's only if it has a 4070 in it. But they'll put a 4070 in this stupid laptop. I mean, it's not a stupid laptop, but they'll put it with a stupid cooling system, and it melts off the board. Did we deal with this last week? Worked on one of these last week, but that wasn't the issue. So here's the machine here. Now the 4060s are not having the issue. It's only the 4070s. And Alex runs a QVC channel. That's pretty funny, actually. I like that. That's pretty funny. Oh. If you want any of the parts that I'm using, go to our website. Click it. It ships today. Or maybe tomorrow. Sometime. All right, anyway, so this is saying 3.5. Now, I can never remember if it actually is a power rail failure on a Alienware, on a XPS, because the light codes are always different. So let's look that up. XPS 9530 light codes. So I just typed in whatever the model is, light codes, and then it will come up with it, and then we can just come down here on our table of contents. So 3.5 is going to be a power rail failure. So EC ran the power sequence, and they updated some of the messages here, actually. It's kind of nice. So it's saying EC ran a power sequence and it found an issue on the board. So it is pointing to a power rail failure, and this machine has a common issue with the GPU. Whether that's going to be the issue or not, I don't know. I'm just saying it out loud. It's a 2023 model, correct. All right, so we need a cord here. The bosses of all bosses. Someone forgot to remind me about my screw tray here. Put that one in there. All right, we got a fresh screw tray. All right, so do you want me to do an intro? We can do an intro. Just in case I use this footage on a video or something. All right, new day and another laptop that needs to be saved. And this time we have a XPS 9530. Now this one was sent in because the customer is experiencing red and blue lights. 3 blue and 5 red. 3 red and 5 blue, which points to a power rail failure. So I haven't taken a look at this yet. Let's take a look together and see if we can get this figured out. Sometimes that's the way it is. You just kind of start spitting out stuff out of your head, and it's always wrong. All right, let's go ahead and just try to power this thing on. Nothing's happening there. I'm going to press the power meter. There we go. And see what comes on. So we jump straight to 0.10, 0.13. Is it going to move around a little bit? No. Oh, 0.28. Okay. I'm just letting it sit there. We're trying to see what it's actually trying to do here. I don't see any lights coming on here, but when we plug in a USB-C, it should start at 5 volts, jump up to 20 volts. And then on these machines, they don't power on automatically. We do have a keyboard backlight, though. We do have a keyboard backlight. And it should sit at 0.02 is what it should actually do. But if we're, oh, and we got a Dell screen for a second. What? And then went down to 0.13 again and shut back off. Power cycled. This light shut off. What in the wide world of sports? I was trying to explain something and it confused me because we got a Dell screen. So we do have a keyboard backlight again. We're sitting at 0.27. What does this mean? Okay, we got a Dell screen again and it shut off again. Okay, so we're going through a boot loop of some sort. Now, whether it's hitting a current limit or something, we're not seeing that 3.5 error, but maybe if we let it sit there and cycle long enough, it would go into that. But what would, I'm going to plug in this other port too, just to see. This other port's on a different PD controller, and so each one of these USB-C ports are going to have their own PD controllers. And so I just want to see if it does exactly the same thing, and it does. We're still getting that to power on. Now, if we're having a sequence where it gets the Dell screen for a second, shuts off, what is it having an issue with? The screen? Yeah, maybe the screen. Maybe it's trying to power the screen and it says, hey, 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 wait. And it shuts itself off. So let's go ahead and open up the bottom and take a look inside. I don't think it's doing a CMOS reset. The way that it's acting, it's not really doing a CMOS reset. But we will do a CMOS reset on it. Let's unplug the main battery and clear that out. You bet it's the battery. You think we have an aftermarket battery in here? Power rail failure. I haven't seen the power rail failure yet because we got the Dell screen. Does it have integrated GPU or discrete GPU? Yes, it has both. And so this one either comes with the 4060, well, 4050, 4060, and 4070. And the 4070 is the one that I always see an issue with the main power rail. And it supports an external GPU too, yeah. All right, is this going to be able to open? Okay. Well, the bottom came off pretty easy, so that's a symptom that somebody's been in here. This is usually fused to the bottom. All right, and the bottom is off. Quick look around. So it is the main battery. That is a Dell Genuine OEM. You can see the serial number. We got 2 sticks of DDR5 gold. We got 1 SSD. It is populated. Okay, so we don't have the battery plugged in. I can tell you right now on this machine, it is required to have the battery plugged in for it to power on. So this exact boot loop cycle that we're having and getting the Dell screen and shutting off is the battery not plugged in. So does this mean the machine's going to work? Because to me it seems like it's working. Okay, so let's plug in the battery and see if we actually get it to stay on. I'm just going to hold it, keep it like that for you. And there we go. All right, we're plugged in. All right, so I mean the power cycle is different than normal because it really should go down it should be 0.05, then 0.03, then 0.08, and then it should actually jump up to an amp. It's never jumping up to an amp. So if we get the Dell screen, it should be over an amp. Waiting, I'm waiting. Waiting. All right, got the Dell screen, and it shut off for a second and came back on. That's normal. Now we're getting a blink code. It's probably a 3-1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we are getting 3, 5. Okay. But we are at 3.7 amps, 4 amps, so we are at full amperage. That's normal. What is this? What power rail could we be missing? Yeah, it's definitely been opened before, whether they sent it here or it could have been my technician before it, because he always sends it over to me afterwards, but after he looks at it and says, yeah, the motherboard's messed up. I'm going to let it sit here and see if it goes through a CMOS reset, but what the heck? What the heck? The RAM? Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see if the RAM's getting hot. Here, let's do a thermal camera. Let's go thermal. Let's go thermal, man. Is the RAM on? The RAM does not look very on to me. Because usually it's super hot over there. This is going to be the charging circuit that's on. Although the CPU and GPU do not seem hot either. There is something interesting about this. I'm going to show you. You can get this screen on this machine. I'm pretty sure it's on this machine without RAM installed. So this is not required to display with RAM. You don't have to have RAM in there to get that. So yeah, we could be missing the power for the RAM. And that would make sense why the CPU is not getting hot. Now, why are we pulling 3 amps? I don't know. Let me unplug the battery and see. Okay, so this machine's actually, I have the battery unplugged now. So the battery was charging at that 3 amps. So the machine's running off 0.33 amps. So 330 milliamps is way too low. And I can tell you right now that this is probably, yeah, we were probably missing the RAM power supply, I'm guessing. So that's a good one. Mr. Rogue, that was a good one. I like that idea. So let's measure our power rails here. I guess I shouldn't have unplugged it. Where's the RAM power supply on this? I'm just going to take out one of these sticks just in case. Corrupted BIOS? I don't think so. I'm going to take out these sticks of gold. These are 8 gig sticks of gold, so, you know, again, a couple $100 right there just in gold. And we'll grab my tray of gold here. And that's another 8 gig stick. I'm just going to put 1 stick in of mine just to take that out of the picture. It said power rail failure. It sure did. It said it. So I'm going to plug in the battery momentarily while I start the machine, and I'm going to unplug the battery because it just needs it to start the machine, and then we can unplug it after that. Not very likely a corrupted BIOS. I agree with that. 0.26. Again, that's not the right startup sequence, even with this new RAM in here. So we're going to measure around in a second and see what voltages we're missing or what we have. It's waiting for it to start back up again. Do you use a polarized filter on your camera? I do. I do. I just bought some polarizing film and hooked it into my Barlow on one and then onto the actual light on the other part. And it was very cheap. All right, so now I'm going to unplug the battery. Battery's unplugged, so we're running at 0.47. Shut the lid, so 0.32. So let's just look around, take some measurements. The machine is still on. So these are the 3 volt and the 5 volt. These should definitely be here if we have the screen coming on. 3 volt, 5 volt. The RAM is the only thing that would be the questionable thing here. I don't know where the RAM power supply is on this thing. It's going to be Thunderbolt over here, I think. So 1.1. We should have a 5 volt. Unless the RAM's running off this 5 volt. It could be. Let me grab a test board. .35 is, yeah, it's still 3.5. So it went back to that. It's still that power rail failure. We're still stuck on the screen. We'll never get past that screen. 9530 is this board. So here's a 9530 board right here. I just want to look around and see if we can find where the power rail is on these. I don't have board views or schematics or anything for these, any of these XPSs really. Remove the chip and compare the pad and measure for a short. I don't know where I'd be measuring yet. Yeah, it looks like it must be using the 5-volt, the main 5-volt power rail for this. So here's the main 5-volt power rail, and that's probably what's powering the RAM, but that is present. Is the battery charging? I have the battery unplugged now, but the battery does charge. I just unplugged it because I'm just trying to get it to run. I just want to see how much current's being pulled. Remove the chip. You repaired the pad and measure for a short. This is a different laptop. I guess visual inspection. Yeah, we could do that. What would it cost to remove the liquid metal from a laptop? From an Alienware? Is it leaking, or is it just you just want to de-liquid metal it? It would just be our 129 regular labor charge. If it's leaking everywhere, then I'm going to charge more than that. But if it's not leaking, then just 129 would be fine. All right. I wish this. A lot of time I can see the RAM facing up, and I can actually measure on the chips if it's getting voltage or not. But let's pull this apart and start looking around. 3.6. What is a 3.6 code? It's a 3.5 that we're getting. Did you see a 3.6? Yeah, 3.5. Yes, 3.5 is a power rail failure. So it's missing a power rail somewhere, and that's why it's not starting up. I'm going to pull this board out there. It's factory not leaking. Okay, so then just the 129. It's our regular labor charge for repair. Now we'll disassemble the entire laptop, clean all the fans, clean the heat sinks, and then take the liquid metal off, and we'll put PTM 7950 on it. I think the laptop isn't working. Very observant. I think it's a CPU power rail. Could be, but the CPU doesn't power on, and if it detects that the RAM's not there, then it won't power on the CPU. That's like the normal kind of startup process. It's going to happen if you lagged out the screen in multiple colors everywhere. What? Screen. It's the Wi-Fi card. Wi-Fi card's built on the board. Nothing I can do about it except for shoot it. No CPU. The RAM power, I think it's a RAM power rail personally, but I just don't know where the RAM power rail is, which is funny because I should know because I've worked on these boards enough. I'm going to unplug the screen just for a second. We're just going to unplug some of this stuff. But the main issue is, here, y'all look at this board for a second. So here's the RAM. I'll zoom in for you. Here's the RAM, 5-volt, 3-volt power rails. Normally there's another power rail that's for the RAM. Now it could just be pulling right off of there. DDR5 is going to run off the 5-volt. And then we have this power rail right here that I believe was a Thunderbolt. That was 1.1 volts, but it could also go to these other things. And then the VRAM power rails here. This is going to be for the GPU. These are for the CPU. That's all I see. And this is the charging one. So I think it's, you know, these are working. So we're going to have to find a short somewhere or a cracked capacitor or something. Wonder if they had a RAM adapter that allows you for a different angle. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Let me see if I have another RAM stick that's double-sided, actually. That would work, too. Because all these are... They don't make double-sided anymore, do they? They're all single-sided. This is all DDR5. It all goes in that way. So the question is actually, what current does it pull when I have no RAM in there? It should be exactly the same, and I bet we get the Dell screen. We didn't test that. Plug the screen back in. You are a rich man. I know that drawer. The drawer of RAM right there is worth thousands of dollars. I got more of it somewhere. I got stacks of that stuff. And it's hard to get it though. I can't really get any more of it, but whatever I have is I have. What's the best place to get PTM 7950? I need to redo mine. So we're selling the Grizzly Thermal on our website. That's the stuff that we can get to sell. I haven't got the Honeywell. I haven't got a Honeywell contact. DDR5 runs off 5-volt rail. Yes, it does. So look, I don't even have RAM in the machine, right? And so now we're going to get a different error code because the RAM's not in there, but we do have the Dell screen still. So now we're getting a 3.2, right? Wait. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're still getting a 3.5. Yeah, it'll be a crack cap. So no RAM in there at all gives the same thing as it having RAM in there. And if I unplug the battery again, we're back down to 0.46. Close the lid, we're back down to 0.31. So yeah, we're gonna have a crack cap somewhere. And we're gonna be able to find it. You know why? Because when I pull the board out, we're going to start it up under a thermal camera, and whatever is short is going to tell us. Hello from Turkey. Best investment these days is buying DDR5 RAM, huh? Almost done here. All right, while I'm taking this apart, go back and like the video. Let's see if we can get this up to, what are we up to now? Like the stream. I'll keep messing with this here because I hate screwing stuff. It takes forever, and you guys are patient, but I'm not that patient. I always fast forward through that stuff. Can't handle it. 711. Okay, I wanted to get up to 800. It was what my goal was. So we only need like 80 or 90 more likes, basically. And there's 1,000 people in here, so it should be pretty easy to get up there. Hello from Canada. Canada also. Okay, almost got it. $734. It's coming up. Okay, and the motherboard is out. All right, so here's my plan. Is I'm just going to put it on the thermal camera. We're going to plug it in, and we're going to find our short really fast and be done with it. There we go. Thermal camera. And so we'll plug it in. We should see something get hot. Right here. It's the I know what it is. I'm gonna name it before we do it. SSD controller. SSD power controller. Or whatever you call it. It's the SSD power rail. Let's see if I nailed it. It's gonna be like UZ32 or something like that. Let's see. So UZ32 is right here, and he has a hole in him. Look at UZ32. What are you doing, buddy? So there's two of these. There's going to be one for each SSD, and this one happens to be burned up. So seriously, yeah. So they changed out the SSD while it was on. No, not really. Their SSD could be shorted though, and caused it, or just overheated. So I believe this one is for SSD on that side, and then I think there's another one right here. Let's see. UZ33 and UZ32. So those are the two for the two drives. Let me zoom out so you can see. Here, I'll do it this way. So here are the two SSDs, and then here are the two controller power chips. This is the one that's burned up on this side. So let's go ahead and get that guy replaced, and then that should fix our issue. Why? Why? Love from India. Love from India. I hear you. I hear you. Thanks. Lots of love. There's so much love happening from India. Appreciate it. But you don't have to say it 10 times. Don't spam the chat, please. All right, so let's pull this guy off of here. Easy burrito. You like how I called the chip number and what it was before I even peeled the thing back? You remember the video about this? Yes, that's right. I did do a video about this. That's why I remembered. Hopefully this SSD survived. In my experience, it does survive usually, but we will see. Need some flux. We're gonna go all white with our flux here. Going white. This is like the sticky film that's on that cap right there. See if we can brighten it up. So bright. What's going on? I mean, it's like my hot air station, I've changed out my tip. This is a new hot air end, but I don't feel like it's getting as hot as it was. All right, so that one's off of there. Let's grab a new one, brand new. Let's see if I have any brand new ones on this board. Got one right there. Absolutely never been used. Blown SSD in this economy? Yeah, that would be expensive. Hopefully it's not a big SSD, because I think only data centers are going for big ones. I think our SSDs are still pretty cheap at the moment. But if I have to buy brand new ones, then it's probably going to cost more. But the batch that I have, I think we're still being able to sell at a reasonable price. We don't hike prices to hike prices, I'll tell you that. This is not about getting rich. Should I check for a short before I install this? I know someone's going to say they do that. Sure, I can do that, just in case. Oh, I know. Amateur move. All right, so we're just going to check for a short in this area first. Okay. The cap is not blown. Here, hold on. Let me, before I put this chip on here, I'm going to put this chip in a safe place, i.e. this area over here. Okay, safe. I'm going to get the blown chip and throw it to the 9th dimension over here. I'm going to clean this board off, and I want to measure while it's cold because it's telling me there's still something going on over here. And again, if a chip blew up, why'd it blow up? So that cap could have gotten hot. You know, the cap looks fugly, right? And it could be that this cap melted on here. Let's go back and look at the paper that goes over it. So this goes over it, and sometimes you'll see, so this is a melt spot right there, What does that go to? What does that line up with? That lines up with that cap. Bro, you're on it. You are on it. You are on it. So I suspect that this cap is shorted, and it made this shit blow, this chip blow. And you can actually see the sign right here because this got really hot and melted right across there. What do you think? Does everyone concur? Do you concur? Do you concur? I think so, especially since we're measuring a short still. That cap has seen better days. I mean, that cap is covered in like the sticky goo. The concurrence is strong with this community. So short on that side, short on that side. We concur, we concur. Okay, I do want to inject, or should we just take that off? I guess it's ugly anyway, right? We'll just take it off. See if the short's gone. Is the short gonna be gone? I don't know. So I'm gonna take him off anyway. The resistor looks cooked or overheated as well. I don't know, the resistor's always dark like that. This guy just looks like hell. The cap looks fine. Alright, so we take that guy off of here. Let's see if the short is gone now. Wow. You guys are pure geniuses. Pure genius. So here's our ground pad, and there's no short there anymore. Oh my gosh. You guys are geniuses. Wow. Okay. So we will replace two chips. Coffee's still warm, a little bit. All right, so we can put this guy on here, and then we can put a new guy there, and then, you know, Bob's your uncle. So let me grab this other capacitor we had here. Where's he at? So this guy. We're gonna take this guy right there. Okay. No short, no cap. Soren says, goggles off. Time to take the goggles off. Looks like there's a burnt mark on the cap. Which cap are we talking about now? I have totally concurred. All right, we got him. Got him. Get out of here. All right, you're going right there. You don't have an Uncle Bob? What about Bob? Okay. He's stuck on there. Let me go grab this little chippy chip, wherever he's at. I don't know what I did with him. Is this him? Yes. We found him in a safe place. So pen one is right there. Pen 1 is right there. Ah. You're killing me, Smalls. Okay, try it again. Turn down your air. No, I don't want to turn down my air. I like my air. I like it. I like all the blowiness. I just need to have the board hot first. That's what it is. Bye-bye, chip. Reduce airflow. If I didn't have my airflow, I wouldn't have anything. I need my airflow. I just need the chip to stick. That's what I need, see? And then when you stick it, see how it's kind of doing three-wheel motion right now? It's like kind of floating. Then we just reflow it. And it won't fly away. Get in your home. Come on, you can do it. You're almost there. We need to wait for that to get hot. Almost there. Is it hot yet? There we go. Just a happy little chip. Okay, and this guy's good too. Alright, so we can clean up that solder right there on that edge. Oh. Uncle Bob, T1000. Into the 9th dimension. Everybody, tell Nathan how to use hot air. He's a noob. That's right. I only spend 8 hours, 10 hours a day under this. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've had to change my end out recently on this. So I've had to replace these things 3 times, these ends. And this last one I got is subpar, but I ended up having to replace it during the week. And I didn't have one all week long, and I overnighted one. I ordered one from Amazon, ordered one from eBay, and I ordered one from AliExpress all at the same time, the fastest shipping I can get, and so I have 3 of them now. But this one doesn't seem like it acts right, so I need to probably change it out. Okay, let's clean this guy up. And then we need to check the other SSD controller because I'm sure it doesn't work either, but we'll fix that in a second. Usually they both break. If one breaks, they both break. What we got? Hey, thank you, Trucka. Old Trucka. All right, check for short. Sure. Winner, chicken dinner. All right, so this is no short. That's our ground side. This looks good. I like the resistor. I think it looks beautiful. This is all good. That all looks good. Okay, so done with that. Let's go look at this guy over here. He's not, I was gonna say, is this the right board? Yeah, so this is not, this is a no pop right here. It confused me for a second. I thought it was a donor board. What is that? The gifted tier 1 sub. Thanks for the gifted sub. Very generous. So here's our other one. So I'll make sure we don't have a short in this area. Oh, and that's looking good. 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 Okay. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Okay, so hello, sir. Can you tell me the thickness of soldering iron you use? That's so personal. You're asking me personal questions. So right now I'm using a freaking huge knife tip. I don't even know what thickness that is. And then I like to use these like pointy ones. I don't know. I got a plethora. Do you even know what a plethora is? So I have this minis. So I have piles of them. And I don't know. And I'm using a Metcal MX500 station. So I've had those forever. Let's turn this thing back on. So I'm sorry I can't answer the question on that. I don't know. I do use whatever tip I can find that works right. All right, I'm going to plug in the board. We just want to see if it doesn't get all crazy hot. So we see it's at 0.05, 0.03, 0.08, and it should jump up to an amp. And that was exactly what the cycle was supposed to be. Did you guys watch that? Here, we'll do it in our program here. All right, so if you want to look here, so right now it's not plugged in right now. So if you pay attention to the top, it's going to go up to 20 volts. And we're going to go through our startup process. So it does a spike, initial spike when we plug it in. It's going to come up here. It should come back down on current. There we go. And then it should jump up, spike, and then it should go back down. And it's going to do a cycle because we don't have a battery in here. So it should do this exact same cycle over and over again. You'll see a repeat of this startup process of it negotiating. You see that same spike right there? Right here, here it is again. If I had the battery plugged in, then it would actually start charging, or it will actually start the system itself. So pretty cool way of being able to visualize the startup process. And that's just part of this little guy right here. So if you want a USB power meter like this, this is the Power Z K something something. I have a link in the video description for it, but anyway, that's the one I use. Plugs into the computer. It has a whole charting system, and then allows you to see it on the screen. I just kind of capture those elements up there. So let me install this. And then we'll have to test each SSD slot too. How much time we got? Cool, this is perfect timing. We'll wrap this one up, chat for a little bit, and I can head home and do some weekend stuff. He knew Metcal, the RF induction was good. I've never tried the RF induction. That would be pretty cool to have that. The Metcal station I bought, I got it for a long time ago. There was a company that was going or filed for bankruptcy, and they were selling off all their assets, and so I bought like this desk and like a bunch of workstations and all the soldering equipment. And this was like in 2009, maybe 8, something like that. So it's the same station I have since then. Hey Nate, have you ever done a paper clip around the soldering iron tip trick? No. What does that do? Is that just like a fine tip? Sounds fascinating. Let's save another laptop. I don't need to plug that in. Don't need to plug that in. I'll plug this in so it doesn't give us an error. And let's put a couple screws in so the motherboard doesn't like topple out like in one of my videos. You guys have seen that video, I'm sure. There's this video I posted, I don't know, earlier last year, and it was like the last 1 second of the video. You saw this huge arc come out of the side of the laptop motherboard. And it's because I was testing this motherboard, this type of motherboard, and I didn't have it screwed in, and the motherboard kind of slipped out, and then it like arced to the frame, but you could see this huge like, and then everybody was like, what was that? What was that? It's because I didn't put a screw in there, of course. Don't forget to put your screws in. How long was your last stream? I may have missed a half hour of it. It was right at 4 hours every single time, pretty much. So, usually last streams, they last about 4 hours. Okay, so that's plugged in, that's plugged in. I'm going to do my SSD because I don't want to blow out any chips, right? So we just want to make sure the slots are working. And I'll just put 2 different SSDs in there, and that way we have both slots tested. And then if that works, then we'll plug in their SSD and blow it all out and have to start all over again. But we'll do that on a different stream. What are your thoughts on ceramic tweezers? Never had them before, but I did watch James's video about that stuff. And that was really good. I've just definitely never tried it. Haven't really felt like I needed it. My favorite tweezers right now are going to be these mechanics. I just got another set. And then I usually use a lot of these other ones that are the, whatever, the relics, or what are they called? The Relifes. But I think that these are the most durable ones so far, these blue ones for me. And they're precise enough for the most part. We got the 2 SSDs in there. We got the 2 sticks of RAM in there. Plug in the battery. We're going to boot into the diagnostic, or no, the BIOS, just to see if we have both things detected. Uh-oh. Why is this not plugging in? I think we have a bent pin in here now. Hold on. I can't tell. I can't plug in the battery. You like the blue mechanic ones? Yeah, so I just ordered another set. They got lost in shipping, so then they had to refund me. I had to order another set. But I think I have them now. What's going on here? Oh, trying to get a good view of my battery connector because I can't plug in the battery. How about a vacuum pen? I don't have one of those. Yep, there's a bent pin right there. Let's see if we can fix that. Let's see if I can get positioned better. Okay, so this is what's a good time for you guys to know something. Okay, so these curved tip tweezers are what I use to fix bent pins in these ports. So perfect timing to ask about tweezers. So let's see if I can get lined up with the port here. I need to get higher up or lower. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so this is the battery connector. So I did this, okay? Can y'all see that? Okay, so I need to bend this back over. But what you want to do is you want to pivot. So you want to kind of pivot. You want to get it just right behind it. And I don't want to use the other one to pivot off of because I don't want to bend it. But I just want to get right here, and I usually anchor the bottom and then lean the thing over. Usually it's the end pins that are bent. You don't necessarily want to just grab it like this because then you can overbend it. So I'm going to try to get in there. There we go. So now we're, oh, almost made it. There we go. Straight, straight, straight. There we go. So that's what these curved ones are really good for that. I generally don't use curved ones for just doing repairs. They don't really tickle my fancy. But, all right, let's see if that works now. So make sure to plug this in straight. Yay, went in straight. Do you only work with 360 watt chargers plugged in? No, I use a 240 as my everyday charger, and then I have a 330 wired right here also. So I have two charger wires ran over here, but I run a 240 to my power meter. Oh, this is actually tilted. This should go this way. I think it should go that way so you can see my power meter. So I have a 240 wired on my power meter all the time. And then the 330 is in case I need a 330. And the 360 is only a few machines even use the 360. So not usually a big deal. Remove the goggles. Plug in the power. There we go. We got 20 volts. Going to 0.08. Should go down to 0.03. We have picture. It should go back off. We get the Dell screen. Should go through that cycle. We got a gifted sub. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for the gifted sub. We're close to 800, folks. Close to 800 likes on the video for the YouTubers. If you haven't done it, do it. That was my goal today, was 800. All right, so it's pulling 1.4 amps. The battery is plugged in, but it's going through the startup process right now. So we should see if we can get through this. As the video is about to end, I want to thank you for the information that you provide. Well, thank you so much for attending, and hopefully you are getting stuff out of this. No more 3.5, so we're not getting the 3.5 error. I don't have the Dell screen, but we are going through a CMOS reset. So we did break 800. Thank you, everybody, for that. That means a lot that you would take the time to press the button there. I don't know why we're not getting anything going on here, but I'm going to let it sit for a little bit longer. At least no blinking. CMOS resets are always just so tricky, so I just kind of let it do its thing sometimes. We probably should have done it with no SSDs plugged in, but it is still moving around, you know, the amperage. So as long as the amps are still moving, then we'll probably be okay. Chat is the diagnostic tool for the Dell machines. The screen is connected. We did see the Dell screen for a second. I will probably turn it off again in a second. I'm just going to let it sit here. So we're at 90 watts. DDR5 retraining takes forever. That's right. Okay, so now it went, so I didn't do anything. It went down to 0.02. That's what we wanted. So we should get the screen again. There we go. So now we're good. See how long it took? You feel like nothing was happening, right? So we got there. Let me cancel out of diagnostics. I saved 2 for 2, but we need to make sure our SSDs are detected though. So let me get into the BIOS. let me hook this other fan up because there's 2 fans on this thing and I only have 1 hooked up. It's probably getting hot. Okay. $839 likes. Wow. Maybe we can hit 1,000 likes now. I doubt we could. I doubt we can hit 1,000 likes, but F2. Play some dramatic music. Is it gonna work? I'm trying to get into the BIOS. Is it going through another CMOS reset again? There we go, we're in the BIOS. Okay, finally, that took forever. All right. So, let's go down to storage and see if we have both SSDs installed, because I have 2 installed in here, so we should have both. And SSD 1 and SSD 2, we have them both. So that is working. And neither one of these are going to be configured to this machine, but we'll see what happens here. There you go. I saved another laptop, and that's 2 for 2, like you were saying. So that actually was pretty good, right? I mean, the first one we fixed, it was giving a 2.1 error. We never even got that, it was actually dead. We saved it in a way where it's usable, but they won't have their discrete graphics. This one, we diagnosed it actually pretty quick. So was it easy pizza? It had a bad capacitor, but it also had a blown component. I don't know if the component that blew up, the UZ32, would have kind of thrown people for a loop. We got the blue screen for what? Inaccessible boot device? Does anyone know what that means? So, you know, it ended up being a capacitor that blew out that chip, right? But here, we can hook his drive in here instead. So I don't have to change the boot order here. Easy calzone. It's a calzone. Make sure this is off. Yes, the RAID mode in the BIOS. Yeah, I just don't want to have to change that because I'm going to have to put his drive in there, but we know it's working, it's booting off of it, so I was just kidding, like, do you know what this is? Yeah, so if you ever see a blue screen that says inaccessible boot device, you just need to change the RAID settings where it's HCI versus RAID, and then the drive will boot up just fine. We see this every single day. It's very common, so. Anyway, let's do a little bit of just chatting for a little bit to finish out the day, and then we can have a good finish our weekend. So we only have about 10 minutes or so before I have to head out anyway, so this was perfect timing. I'm not going to worry about that. All right, so we still have a good amount of people. All right, so what questions you guys got this week for me? Anything fun? Any good questions? What laptop do you recommend? You know what? That laptop that I did a video on yesterday, pretty cool looking laptop. I like the cooling on it. If you want a gaming, that's a gaming laptop. Now, if you want just like a regular laptop, you know, if you're trying to get something that's just gonna work, then you need to buy just like a business machine, so a Latitude or one of the Dell Pros or something like that. But if you want a gaming laptop, then you want one that has ample cooling, and you don't want to buy the highest end version of everything. So you don't want to get like a 5090 in it. You can get a 5080. Even the 5080 Ti's are pretty high end, so maybe a 5080 or a 5070 Ti would be nice. Thoughts on the NF Flux White? Is it worthy over the Amtech? I don't. I don't know. We could do a test for you real quick if we wanted to. I don't hate it. So I am my favorite is the Amtech 213, and the Amtech, and then the NF White is basically the same thing. It's a little more runny than the 213, but I would probably, I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a difference. So you can go either one. If you want to support Northridge Fixed, then you can buy his NF White. I like it way better than his regular NF Flux. So anyway, so with ample cooling, that's all you want for the laptop. So that one I did yesterday, that video on, it had these 4 big giant fans. Loved it. So I really like that. Yeah, I mean the one that was a $4,000 repair. That laptop did not have an issue. The guy broke it. He bought it and broke it. So, but the cooling on that one, that was a 19-inch laptop. They have a 16. I mean, that was an 18-inch laptop. They have a 16-inch version. It's the same type of setup with 4 fans like that, which is really good. So now it's a good time for the Imperial March. Very informative stream. Well, thank you so much. Those toothbrushes have made a lot of money, yes, and I have a plethora of toothbrushes coming through. Lots of it. Looking forward to Wednesday night stream. Wednesday's midnight stream. Yeah, for you, I guess it's probably midnight. I'm glad that you guys join in on both streams. I'm pretty impressed. I'm a member of PETS, People with Ethical Treatments of Smurfs. Say no to solder mask with Smurfs in it. That is so funny. Smurf solder mask. I can't believe you. Did you come up with that, or was that a ChatGPT thing? That's so funny. $4,000. Just don't repaste it. What kind of soldering tin am I using? So this is, again, when I bought out all that stuff years ago, it came with rolls and rolls of this solder. This is the Jester or whatever it is. Is that what it is? That's how you pronounce it? Chester? I can't remember. It's all, the label's ripped. But it's I think a 4060 mix. So that's the roll I use. I have a pile of rolls, but I don't go through enough of them. So that's what I've had it for, whatever, since 2008 or 9 when I bought out that company's soldering supplies. Yeah, he ripped the connector on it himself. Area 51 16-inch version with a 5080. I mean, that seems fine with me. I mean, the 5080, in the 16-inch, you're going to have less cooling because it's a 16-inch. So, but, I mean, I wouldn't be scared of the 5080 too much as long as you do keep it clean. Why did he need 10 gigs of storage, though? I know 2 4 terabytes and then a 2 terabyte. It almost seemed like he had extra sticks put around, but I've had plenty of people buy stuff from me or buy laptops, and they're like, I want you to max that thing out, man. I want you to put a 4 terabyte in this old ass computer, so some people just want the best. Do you only work on Dell devices? Only Dell laptops and Alienware laptops, which is made by Dell. So yeah, I've been specializing in those for almost 25 years, and so we stock all the parts, and yeah, that's all I work on. And it's good because then I know stuff. You joined at the very end. Well, you're going to have to go back and rewatch everything, okay? Just go back from the start and you can watch the whole thing. We did fix 2 laptops that are pretty complicated. The first one was a lot more complicated, and I'm pretty glad that we came up with something. I replied with a suggestion of $4,000 laptop repair. You could have done an FPV drone for Wi-Fi plugs. Oh, yeah. But I have the plug, the end. I mean, because those are UFLs, and I actually have plenty of UFL, nipples, but I don't have the other side. So 8 terabytes on my laptop with 30 gigs in my desktop. I need more storage in my desktop. I have 4 terabytes I keep sticking in, and then they fill up, and then I have to come up with something else. So I needed a good, NAS solution. You came up with that yourself, Santa? That's pretty good. Chester, that's what, yeah, thank you. I was trying to remember the name. I have rolls back there, but I have to reach behind my camera to get to it, so that's why I'm not worried about it. You can't do the midnight streams on Sundays. It's late enough. Okay, Wolfie. Well, yeah, it's I'm trying to cater to multiple people, so it's hard. I can barely do it myself because this is an extra 10 hours a week of work that I add to my 60 hours I'm doing already. So great show as usual. Thank you. I mean, modern games are hundreds of gigs. That's right. I don't play modern games, but I know that one of my technicians here, he's like, yeah, this game was 128 gigs or whatever. And I was like, what the what? That's crazy. So I guess that does make sense. You have a solder roll from the 80s still. Does it have the same hairdo? Uh, anyone order from this company? What company are we talking about? Oh, this company. Let's say website named. Let's see. What did you say? There's a website named Modi selling Honeywell PTM sheets ranging from 20 to 30. If you want to buy PTM OEM PTM sheets, you can buy them from lttstore.com. He sells you big sheets like this or small ones. LTT is Linus Tech Tips. The only problem is it's in Canada, so it costs a little extra. So when I buy one of these sheets with shipping and everything, it's about 130 bucks for a big giant sheet like this, but then it lasts me a while. And I thought I ordered it, and I looked, and I never got it. So, I agree about desktop storage. 14 terabytes external, only half 18 months now. You have to, wow. I feel like I'm behind all. I mean, the amount of videos I record and edit, I mean, I need more storage for sure. Why do they install memory chips down for cooling purposes? I don't know. On that particular machine, they do that because on the Alienwares, it's actually like the slots are kind of back to back. Like here, which way did I hold it? They're back to back like this, and so one's facing up and one's facing down. So that one, they're both side by side, so they're both facing the same direction. Is it a cheater from SIFL or OLL? I don't know what you're talking about, Gritty. Oh, hey Nathan, have you ever checked out Blueprints? What's Blueprints? Is that in the game again? Are we talking about a new game? Blueprints. Dave, you always get me intrigued here. Let's see what Blueprints is all about. Blueprints. Oh, that was the game, right? Yeah. Now I remember. I'm sorry. I totally forgot about that. No, I haven't checked it out. I didn't have time. Well, I always have time, but I never have time. And no, I totally forgot about that. I forgot that was the name of it. For some reason, I thought it was something else. So sorry about that, Dave. I sound like an idiot when I say that stuff. I have 340 games alone. That's crazy. I want to do a stream, a video game stream, but I was going to play Super Mario World because that's the game that I kind of been craving to play that game again. It's simple. There's nothing to it. I can't really play these other. If I had to learn all this stuff from the start, my brain can't handle all that stuff. When I first received my 9570, Dell told me that I couldn't upgrade my memory from 32 to 64, and I did it myself, and it works great. Yeah, you can do that, no problem. Yeah. Oh, UV light works great. Okay. Yeah, this UV light that I have here, I got from Northridge Fix, so I don't even know what it is. China. It's a China light. I'll check that out. Thank you for sending me that. It's a really cool game, solving puzzles and climbing mansion. Yeah, you're right. I need to just do that. And I can just do it on a simple system. I don't need anything with the good graphics, right? Or do I need something? Do I need 100 gigs? Is that the one? Show us your pro gamer moves with Super Mario World. I mean, I've beat that game every year or so. I go through and I beat every single level and every single secret exit and everything. There's 96 levels to beat on that thing, so I always like doing that. I want to see that stream. Yeah, so maybe I'll do that. I mean, it would have to be a Twitch stream, I guess, right? Because or would I do it on both? I don't know. Would it taint my streams? I have no idea how that works. Grab Hogwarts Legacy. I don't know enough about Harry Potter is the problem. I feel like I would need to know something, right? I'm so like out of any of that. Okay, fantasy stuff, I can't handle it. Anything where it's world building, where it's like I have to learn the name of this thing and that thing or whatever. Like I like the worlds that are all the same except one thing has changed. Not everything's different, and I have to learn it all. And so world building is like, really, that's why I can't read fantasy books. I don't watch fantasy movies. I can't do fantasy games. It's just there's too much learning, I guess, or memory, or I don't know. Just like a books, I can't read with a bunch of characters. There's too many characters. The concur doctor. I concur doctor. I never got past Centipede. What, on your old Nokia? You can't do that. You can't afford 32 gigs. Play Resident Evil 4 Remake. I've repaired an OG M17XR4. Have I? Yes. Yeah, I don't know. If, they haven't. People send them in occasionally. M17XR4 is like a. Oh, right. M17XR5 is the 17R1. It's the same machine, but the R4 is the one. I mean, they're huge. They come in occasionally. Sometimes I even get the R2s or R3s. People send them in. How do you clean the pins on DDR4 memory stick? Isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip. So the higher the percentage, the better. So you can, if you can only get 91%, get it at Walmart or whatever, or Walgreens, then do that. Super Mario Kart World FTW. I haven't played Super Mario Kart in a long time, but I love dropping those banana peels. RV, are you there yet? Looks good. Flight simulators are fun. That's true. Yeah. I used to do the old flight simulators, but I know now people have like the full setup. I think that'd be pretty cool. My old tech used to have the full flight simulator setup with all the pedals and all the stuff. So, what time is it? Oh, 1 o'clock. So we're at 4 hours. I'm gonna have to call it, guys, because I got to get home to the fam and do some weekend stuff. And but I want to thank all the people that showed up today and all the likes on the videos. That was great to kind of push it over that. We did get more exposure. We did have a good amount. I think we hit 1,100 and something people on YouTube and, what, 150 or something on Twitch. So that was great. I want to thank everybody for donating to the stream. I'm going to be passing some of that money over to, or I'm going to be passing that money over to the repairs that we worked on just now. And I want to thank all my mods. They work really, really hard. So, you know, Wes and Premise and the Daves and JFix, you know, everyone who is here and actually participating and making sure everything's nice and clean. I appreciate that. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys, and thanks for watching.